Perkins Online, the Thinking Person's talk show. Now here's your host, Wilmot Mutty Perkins.
Morning, everybody. Morning, and welcome once again to Perkins Online. Is the campaign heating up with all this celebration of Sister P's first anniversary in government? I can't remember any other Prime Minister whose first year in office was celebrated with the extravagance that seems to be happening here. She gave an address to the nation. There was a party at the Pegasus. There was another one last night was it in the car park at the National Arena? I don't know. I haven't yet heard anything about that one. How I gather people were being bussed in from various places. I don't know what it was like. And then there was a discussion with the polling seems to have been activated again, and the pollsters are now saying that as they have been for a little while, that the parties are neck and neck, which, if I were a member of the JLP, I would regard as very favourable. Because when these pollsters can't say that the PNP is 10 points ahead, things are not looking very good for the PNP. Anyway, I'm just wondering, whether we're likely to see the election just after the World Cup, or whether it is going to be dragged out to the end of the year. I don't know. There's a story in the Gleaner this morning. Is it the Gleaner or the Observer? Telling us that the electoral office is saying that there's been a rush of persons to be enumerated. Now, is that a good sign for a sitting government or a good sign for its opponents? Worth considering. But inevitably the election is drawing nearer, and the campaign is heating up. I don't hear very much coming out of the JLP though. Maybe I gather that they have been working on the ground, and that and maybe what we haven't heard out of them is we haven't heard anything about their vision for the country, what they see as the problem, and how they propose to go about fixing it. We haven't heard that yet. But it may well be that they don't want to blow that one too soon. They want to wait until they know when the election is going to be, and then they can put that out to the public without a danger of you know what might happen in these circumstances. Anyway, the other thing is the Gleaner has a headline this morning. It was not poison. Our local police are contradicting a story that is circulating elsewhere in the world, that there was some ancient poison that would produce the effects that Mr. Wilmot's, well, the evidence of diarrhea and vomiting and so on, asphyxiation. It's being said that he may have been poisoned. No, I don't know. I don't know how the police are so sure that was not what happened. But things are dragging on. They don't seem to be any nearer a solution. They haven't come to the point where or so it seems. And they've been talking quite a lot, but they haven't got to the point where they're even suggesting, that they have their eye on a particular suspect, some number of suspects. Nothing of the sort is happening, and one wonders just how long this is likely to go on. As I've been saying, we haven't got a good record in Jamaica for solving crime. There are one hell of a lot of murders that have been committed in this country over the past decade and more that have not been solved and not even cleared up. I see, though, that Scotland Yard has been invited in, and the Interpol has sent somebody down to see whether they can give any help. Happy to have them, I'm sure, but it is still to be seen. It's looking a little doubtful, Anyway, let's hope that it can be there can be a solution, because otherwise, it might bring into the speculation abroad that Jamaica is not only a murder capital of the world, but an easy place in which to commit murder and get away with it. That's what we have to guard against now. And this spectacular murder in spectacular circumstances is getting more publicity than dozens of other murders committed in Jamaica, and could have a bad effect on our tourism trade. Particularly, if there is no solution, nobody is charged, people might well begin to wonder, whether this wasn't a local thing. We don't want that to happen, do we? And let's hope that there would be no justification for it. Okay, well, not a lot of news this morning. There is an unpleasant incident in Montego Bay where some men suspected of being gay were set upon, attacked, beaten. It's suggested, of course, that there were performers at some public function, And it's been suggested that they themselves were provoked the attack in the manner of, the display that they were putting on. But again, another example of savagery. Not a good thing for the country. Why people believe that they have to behave in these ways, God alone knows. First of all, the kind of displays that are put on for entertainment. And secondly, the increasingly anti-homosexual fervor that seems to grip people from time to time. But the homosexuals have some obligation to be careful in their own protection, They seem to be more intent of on displaying their tendencies than in keeping them private, It's one thing to argue that people have a right to be whatever they want to be in private. It's another thing for them to flaunt it in the faces of people in public. There's no need for that, is there? Okay, do we take the break now, or? Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online. And we're getting complaints by email from persons in various parts of the world that they're not getting us on the internet. I don't know what the devil is wrong. For some reason, I don't know. I also am told that the station is on up to 10 o'clock, and then suddenly it. And I'm told also that they've even stopped. There's even problems with the rebroadcast of the program. Somebody got a call from Cayman Islands over the weekend telling me that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, on demand, yes. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of last week, the program wasn't available. I don't know what is happening, but if they're going to broadcast it, then they have to do something about that. Otherwise, then we might just have to forget it. And I don't know, possibly, I don't know whether it will be possible to arrange to have it broadcast otherwise. Anyway, we'll come to that. Let's hear what our callers have to say now. Hello?
Uncle.
Hi, wait.
Morning.
How you do, Pip? Oh, Lord, not Pip. I nearly...
May you get yourself in trouble? May you get $1 million?
My apologies. I am very sorry. I will not do that again.
Yes. The PNP is celebrating Mrs. Simpson Miller's first year as leader.
Yes.
And they have a discussion yesterday evening nationwide.
Yes.
With Comrade Lambert Brown.
Yes.
And my former talk show was there. He's a lawyer, man. I can't remember his name at the moment.
Yes.
But the
Paul Ashley.
Mr. Ashley, man. Thank you, Mr. Ashley. And Lambert Brown was saying, that Mrs. Simpson Miller, in the areas of foreign affairs,
yes,
and the economy, has done greater than what is expected of her.
In the area of foreign affairs?
Foreign affairs.
Now, what is it that she has done?
well, Mr. You know,
what is it that she has done in foreign affairs? Travel to various countries?
Well, he's saying that when she travel and to meet dignitaries, ambassadors, leaders, you name them, she have done a wonderful job in that here.
Oh, is that so?
Yes, I don't know if you hear it, you know.
So how does Jamaica benefit from that?
The host of the program we're trying, you know, but you just Lambert Brown were putting it across that we can't complain. Because he said that was one of the number one arguments against her, that she's going to perform poorly in foreign affairs and the economy. but she has performed so great that it is unquestionable.
But you know, it seems to me that that is Lambert Brown is being ridiculous here. Merely to hop on a plane,
yes,
and go to Washington,
yes,
right, or to Caracas or wherever,
yes,
is not really to do any great thing in the field of foreign affairs.
No, what Mr. Perkins?
In fact, she has been to Washington, but never met Mr. Bush.
But when the question were
and she hasn't met. Has she met Mr.
Blair?
British Prime Minister?
Mr. Perkins, when the question were put to Paul Ashley, he admit that Miss Simpson Miller was a disaster in the sense that she have not created anything new since she have taken over.
Yes.
Or it is business as usual for what Mr. Patterson have lived here. You understand me? But you cannot point your finger on one single thing, Mr. Perkins, and say, well then, sir, boy, Mrs. Simpson Miller have created this since she have taken up the reign as Prime Minister. Well, she's now boasting, and more people have received also. But that was the number one campaign of Mr. Patterson, that he have put land and house in the hands of more people. You understand me?
Yes.
The thing which Miss Simpson Miller I single out in her throne speech is that human rights. You understand? And I don't know if you were watching the news over the weekend where some residents were complaining of a young man stopped to buy a bull, with a red bull, what you want to call it. The police asked him to remove the vehicle. Waiting on his change, and they are saying that the police just hold the gun at the wheel scream and shoot him, kill him.
Well, what the police say was that he
tried to drive.
He knocked him down. He knocked down the man,
Mr. Perkins,
and was coming at him, with the car, driving the car. And the man pulled his gun and fired through the windshield and shot him.
Mr. Perkins.
Now that doesn't make sense to me. I don't see how we could have been on the ground.
That young man
knocked down on the ground
and he used to shoot the man
and be able to shoot the man through the windshield. I don't follow that one. But maybe I misunderstand.
That young man, Mr. Perkins, his name is Anderson. That young man is somebody who grows in my hand, Mr. Perkins.
Oh, is that so?
He's from St. Mary, from a little district they call him Bikes River. And he run taxis now. If that young man changed to the type person the police is saying about him, it was 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
But up to the beginning of last month when I met him, he was actually the same person I know from the baby till him leave school. I saw him every day of his life when he go to school, Mr. Perkins. This is somebody who grew actually up in my hand. And he was such a nice... If you even look at the picture in which they show on the TV, even when looks is deceiving, you just get the impression that this guy is a decent person.
You know, so what I think is the problem.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
is the failure. I mean, the police may be speaking the truth. The people may be speaking the truth.
Yes, sir.
Right? How do we know which is the truth? Right? What we need is an investigative system that goes automatically into operation the moment something like this happens. Right? That there are rules regarding the protection of the scene.
Yes, sir.
Right? So that the police have no authority to interfere in any way with what is going on. If the man is holding a gun, he's shot, he falls, right? And he has a gun. The police don't go in and take the gun, right? They just guard the scene.
Yes.
And they summon this people, this unit, and they come in and they are not in any way connected with the police. They are independent of the police, right? And they do an investigation, right? And if the investigation is properly done, and people develop a confidence in it, in that process, then it will improve things one hell of a lot in this country, right?
Mr. Perkins.
No, Sister P.
Yes, sir.
Promised her first commitment to the Jamaican people was not to travel abroad and to grab hold of leaders and hug them and kiss them, right? But to deal with the issue of human rights.
Yes, sir.
And she has not done anything in that area.
Mr. Perkins, Mr. Knight.
She might have, I mean, one isn't saying that she could have solved the problem overnight.
Yes.
What one is saying is that she was serious about what she was promising.
Seen some sign already.
That she could have taken at least the initial steps to put into place some such system. She have done nothing about it that I'm aware of.
Mr. Knight.
And then, hold on, may I just say one thing more? Right? That was not the only commitment that she made to that was the first commitment.
Yes, sir.
There was a second commitment, right? About which we have heard, she, in her speech the other night on television, she didn't even mention it, right? To deal with the problem of corruption.
Yes.
Right?
You're right.
She did not even mention it. She seems to have forgotten all about it.
Mr. Knight, in the thing in the White House investigation, he accused Mr. Christie of fall down on the job. I would have loved to hear what he have to say about Ms. Simpson where human rights and corruption is concerned now. Because certainly she has fallen down in that way.
Well, you know what I would like to hear? You are now quite eloquently criticizing Sister P.
Yes, sir.
And that is because you, having flipped and flopped, you find yourself on the other side of the fence. What I would be fascinated to hear, suppose you were to flip again, right? What would you be saying now?
Mr. Perkins.
Tell me that.
You're a destroyer,
I'm a destroyer? I don't understand you.
Man, you're a destroyer.
No. I'm just helping you to demonstrate to people listening to this program your profound ingenuity.
No, you know personally, Mr. Perkins.
Yes.
That I am for Jamaica and its people. And just like you are, I will take a foot off your shoes. When it's wrong, I say it wrong. When it's right, I say it right, Mr. Perkins. I have saw something happen one day last week, and it has shown that when people comes under pressure, they tend to do things which, if they get a chance to revisit, they would have realized that they're wrong.
Yes.
In making panic move.
Uh-huh.
You know Flat Bridge?
Yes.
Flat Bridge in St. Catherine?
Yes, of course.
You know
Who
that...
doesn't? Huh?
You know even driving across that bridge, because it have no rail, it brings that little tension in you.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Because many people have gone over that bridge.
Yes, but you don't drive at 90 miles an hour approaching the bridge and
No. What I'm
saying. Hold on just a moment for me. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here on 900.
Yes, Mr. Perkins. Yes. There is a bridge in West Portland in which they call the Silver Hill Bridge, Mr. Perkins.
Yes, I know. Mr. Vaz was telling me about it.
It is just a chain or two.
Yes, Mr. Vaz told me about it. How they stopped the work on it.
But not only that, Mr. Perkins. You know, tell me now, Mr. Perkins. This bridge is a chain or two away from a primary junior high school. He's talking the age group between 6 years old to 15 years old. He's talking a bridge in a poor community where senior citizens has to use the bridge, Mr. Perkins. It has no rail, Mr. Perkins. The people have come out and demonstrated some time ago about this bridge and have called upon their member of parliament in assisting them in providing the material and make they find the workman in putting up back the rail to avoid it.
Nephew, Mr. Vaz told us about it, you know. He told us about it, that he had raised the funds and started work on the bridge. And they had come and stopped it. Now, what is the position? Has it been restarted or?
No, I am not here if it's been started, Mr. Perkins, but the point I'm making, Mr. Perkins, why would someone who have the people's interest at heart come forward and stop the work, Mr. Perkins, more, and they should have come and join with the people, Mr. Perkins, in putting up the rail, Mr. Perkins?
You know, sir, those people may well feel justified in the sense that while it is important in the interest of the people for them to have a good and safe bridge, it is even more important in their interest. Well, you know the famous words.
Yes.
We always think that it is best for the country for us to form the administration. So anything that will lead us or cause us to be in office, we regard as being best for the country and in the best interests of the country. You know who said that?
Yes. Yes.
Now, if they allowed the work to continue, it might bring in some votes up there to the wrong side of the fence, you see.
So what you're saying now, Mr. Perkins, you're perfect. So if a child or two fell over that bridge and dropped on a large rock down there with
anything that will lead us or cause us to be in office, we regard as being best for the country. That might include a child or two dropping down there.
Or a senior citizen, Mr. Perkins, with poor eyesight.
Yes.
Go over that bridge. You understand? It's just to tell you, Mr. Perkins, as you have rightly said, we quote that person, that power is more important, Mr. Perkins, than any other thing.
Well.
You understand? You know, and it just sad, Mr. Perkins, to see that a member of parliament could call in the police and go. But I
seem to remember that there was a time when I would quote that thing to you, and you would have objection to it, man. You thought that I was misrepresenting what was said. You've come around to a different view.
Mr. Perkins, I know you're just, you know, I understand the position, I understand. And I know you don't mean what you're saying, you know. I know you don't mean what you're saying.
I don't mean what I'm saying.
Just, you know, nothing is wrong with that, you know. We have to, but you and I are just the same type of person. And you can't take that from you, and you can't take that from me. You have a time when the same man who say yes today that he was the best guy, we say today that you are the worst guy.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah, fun time, you understand? But anyway, we'll talk again.
All right.
Take care.
All the best. Good. Okay, hello?
Morning, Mr. P.
Hi, how you do?
Hi, not too bad,
You're having a tsunami in St. Mary?
No, we're not having a tsunami, but we're keeping our eyes open. Wide open. All the best to the lady who read our emails.
Oh, thank you.
And my wife said to tell you greetings and salutations.
Oh, tell her, give her my regards.
Yes, we're knocking about 45 years now, the 17th of February, and she hasn't chased me away as yet.
Oh, is that so?
True.
What a lucky man you are.
I am real lucky.
Boy, you must say have a good obia, man.
Despite my many challenges.
Eh?
Yes, I should call her Shiro.
Who is it that worked for you? Tipperus or what's the name of the one that was out that they built the railway siding for?
We have several out, you know.
No, man, there was a fellow who was what was it? No, man. He used to live. They had to build a railway siding.
Yes, siding?
Yes.
I don't do that one.
You're a St. Mary man, you don't know?
No, I migrated here 53. Follow line. I came here 53 and went back to town.
Oh.
And then disappeared to the United Kingdom.
Yes, man. You ask around. So there must be somebody who...
I'll pick up
I can't remember the name of the man right off.
Yes.
But he was a obia man.
Yes.
And they had to build a railway siding, man. Because there's so many people.
I know it's all right, but I didn't get that story.
Eh?
That one evaded me. I'll have to get it though. Anyway, yesterday paper, I've got retrial of era cops after hung jury.
Yes.
Yesterday Observer. I wonder if it's era cops or it's Shiro.
It said zero?
Era cops.
Ero?
Yes.
E-R-O?
Yes, H-E-R-O.
H-E-R-O?
Ero, yes.
Oh, I see. Well, there were no Shiro cops among them.
There are no Shiro cops there. And people don't understand that the opposite, Nani. Nani was a heroine.
Yes.
Nani was a heroine.
You mean a Shiro?
Oh, sure. In this time, she's a Shiro now. What have we come to? I have a question for you, and I want you to sort it out for me. And when you get the answer, I grew up in Vineyard Pen, when it was Vineyard Pen.
Yes, I remember that.
My mother was born at Rallington Pen. I used to walk up and down, and I could tell you where every cricketer in Vineyard Pen and then after Eden Garden lived. I knew them as a small boy. I used to idolize cricket.
Yes.
George Edder used to live on Berkeley Avenue. Johnny McLeod, who played for the Jamaica, used to live on Miriam Road.
Yes.
The Tullers, them used to live at the corner of Miriam Road and Miriam Avenue. And I could tell you, Grafton Road in Vineyard Pen, Johnny Wangsom used to live at Grafton Road. Vineyard Road, a guy played for Lucas named Everton McCullough. Used to live up there. And one of the greatest cricketers Jamaica has ever seen, named Kenneth Weeks.
Ken Weeks.
Bam Bam Weeks.
Bam Bam, yes,
Bam Bam Weeks. He played for Lucas.
Yes, I remember him quite well.
In 1939, he scored 138 runs at the Oval.
Yes.
Ken Weeks didn't play because the war broke out after 39. And he went to America to study doctor. He's 48 before Everton Weeks got his pick. 39, Ken Weeks was there. He used to live up First Avenue in Virginia. I used to just walk, stand up and look at the house and point to my friends and say, you know a great cricketer live over there? Kingston Club is owner of Sabina Park.
Yes.
This government has chosen to spend $2 billion on Sabina Park. I have not seen anything or any utterances how the taxpayers of this country is going to get back that $2 billion.
They spent $2 billion on Sabina Park. Is
Yes.
it $2 billion?
$2 billion, that's the figure came out.
And there are hospitals that could do well with a little
Yes,
a couple of 100,000, you know.
$2 billion
million
of
or
our
two.
money. And I remember a governor of Jamaica. You must know about Governor Huggins.
Yes.
And after Governor Huggins and Lady Huggins, the next governor that came here is you Foot. Foot came second. Foot came after. Then the last one came was Blackburn.
Yes.
The Foot brothers, you know, they are Welshmen.
Yes.
They come from Wales. Dingle Foot, Michael Foot, and you Foot. When I went to England, I'm waiting to hear about these great men. You Foot. He later became Lord Caradon. And they sent him to Cyprus. I know I'm not blaming Jamaicans can't tell you the difference between a Welshman, a Scotchman. Like our friend Gordon Brown, Chancellor, he come from Scotland.
Yes.
You must know the difference between all Scotland, Welsh. Even the man from Ireland, you must know the difference. I hear them talk and you listen and you know the difference. Now, we spend so much money, and those days at Kingston Club, I see no agreement that you could take the taxpayers' money and spend it at Sabina Park, and there is no agreement. I know plenty men, dark skin as me, could not go up into the stand at Sabina Park and sit down up there.
That includes George Headley?
Yes, and I remember the governor bodyguard, Huggins' bodyguard, went up there and took a seat after he drove Governor Huggins there. And I'm certain, if you call him gentleman, kicked him out. He never threw him out the back seat. He kicked him out of Sabina Park.
Yes.
And he had him out of there. Now, I can tell you, Kingston Cricket Club team them days there. And everybody was what we call Jamaica white man. Johnny Grove, Piggy Cameron, Owen Bloomfield, the lot. The darkest man that played for Kingston them days was Dujon. He was a tax collector in Jamaica. I knew every one of them. Salah Beans, the other two Beans, Vinnie Beans and Ali Beans, played for Melbourne. I was a Melbourne youth. I followed Melbourne all over the place. And Kingston Club, $2 billion of our tax dollars is spent on Kingston Club, and there is no agreement to have it paid back. How can a government spend $2 billion on a thing that the people of Jamaica does know?
Well, it's a private the things of which you speak, sir, the things that happened in the past.
Yes.
You know, times change and we change with them.
Yes.
So it isn't quite the same as it was in the days of yore.
Yes.
But still, I agree with you that the Kingston Club is a private club.
It's a private club.
And how the government can undertake to spend that kind of money fixing up Sabina Park, right?
How is it going to be paid back?
I really don't understand.
How is it going to be paid back? I am not asking.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be required to pay it back. I don't know.
Well, you can't take the taxpayers' money. You can't take the taxpayers' money and spend it there, and then you spend another $2 billion down at the green field. What is happening, you know, is that the World Cup now is becoming taboo. I heard them this morning on the club, and they said, no, leave that alone. Apparently they're not going to get a bounce out of it.
I think that part of the problem is that the government was expecting to get a bounce, but things haven't worked that way.
No, it hasn't worked that way.
Hold on just a moment for me. Okay, thank you very much. Back with you. Hello?
Yesterday, I felt so ashamed. I listened to the commentators talking about Sir Vivian Richards' ground, the ground in Antigua that is named after Sir Vivian Richards. And they says, but the place is half empty. How did this flop? Oh, the World Cup.
Well, I tell you something, sir. It seems to me that one of the things that they did, that happened, was that they planned this World Cup. Somebody planned it. Not for local people, but for visitors.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And they put the prices at levels which local people would find it very difficult to afford.
That's right. $75 for an ordinary visitor and $100 for another stand.
Yes.
Which ordinary man can find that kind of money?
Well,
to go miles
but didn't they go as low as $20?
Well, they're doing a sort of thing that now. But
it didn't start, or was it 25?
They're doing something with the price. They have to get permission from the International Cricket Conference, ICC, before they can do any shaping of the money.
Yes.
The grounds, them is half empty all over the place.
But even at
Guyana?
No, even at $20.
Yes.
We're talking about 680, 1,200, $1,360 for a seat.
They price it out to the reach of the little man.
Yeah.
It is priced out. Take the ground at Guyana. They get $25 million to borrow from the Indian government, you know, to build that stadium, you know.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah, I don't know if they have to pay it back, but they got it from the Indian government to borrow. Now, our own is not borrowed. Well, it might borrow overseas. Our $9 billion that we spend. A lot of it is borrowed. I don't know if it come on the books for the finance minister. I don't know if he bring it onto the books yet, or is it keeping it low and dancing it. You understand?
He's probably running with it.
He's probably running with it, but we are in trouble. Oh, you can find $9 billion. I'm a cricket fanatic, but how can you take $9 billion and the little people in this country can't go near the gates? What is that?
Well, there's so many, it seems to me, so many other priorities.
So many other priorities.
$9 billion might have been spent on.
I've been all over England, all over to the grounds then.
Yes.
And watched cricket. Swansea, Hampshire, Worcester. One time I was at New Road in Worcestershire with L.D. Trevor Roberts. I was down in Gloucester. In 1972 with Raymond Sharp, now deceased. And I've been all over in cricket. Edgbaston ground in Birmingham. Harry Wilmot used to play for Warwickshire. I've been to every ground.
Anyway, I don't know, something...
We are in trouble and we'll find $9 billion to spend on the little man on the street can't get a good treatment at the hospital.
Well...
It's madness.
It's a serious problem.
Look here, I hear another foolishness.
But then you see the problem is this, so...
I'm begging them to stop it. I tell you, $450 million. This lady say has been spent over 20 years on the justice system. And in 1 year she spent $436 billion on the justice system. In 1 year, where she get $436 million to spend on the justice system?
$436 million.
And
436 million or billion?
A billion a year. A billion, 20 years. 20 years. 450 billion.
And in 1 year she spent, it can't be billions, sir. The budget isn't that big for every year.
They're borrowing some money from Canada to fix up the justice system. So there's no use to be gloating about that. This is borrowed money from Canada. And the justice system still in shambles.
Yes.
So then better revisit that figure there and stop it. Stop that nonsense. We're not all jackasses. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Thank you, Sophie.
Thank you very much. All the best to you. Okay, hello?
Hello?
Yes, good morning, sir.
Mutty.
Hi.
Morning, how you doing?
Not too bad, how are you?
Daryl Vaz.
Oh, Mr. Vaz, good morning.
I have a little... Mutty, I have a little story to give you.
Yes.
in relation to Portland over the weekend that I think you'll find interesting, and I think your listeners will find interesting. You know, I've always been speaking about Portland and where it was once and where it needs to go back to as a playground for the rich and famous with the necessary infrastructure, etc. Well, on the weekend, we had a visitor in Portland who came to celebrate his 40th birthday.
Yes.
He happens to be ranked the 249th most wealthiest man in the world.
Yes.
With a net worth of approximately $3.5 billion. From Iceland. He's from Iceland.
Yes. From Iceland.
Yeah. Never been to Jamaica.
Yes.
And decided that he was going to have a birthday to celebrate his 40th birthday. Birthday bash.
Yes.
His handlers recommended about 3 or 4 different places in the world.
Yes.
One of which was Portland. And the final decision was taken by him to come to Portland. Never visited here before, but just by virtue of the pictures and all of what was told to him, he wanted to celebrate his birthday here.
Yes.
When they started to make the arrangements, they realized that there was going to be challenges because he was bringing 110 friends on a charter Airbus out of London. And when they started to look at the accommodations and of course all that was going to be required, it proved challenging. They then decided to look at the option of Ocherius because of obviously more suitable in terms of being able to handle that level of visitor along with his friends. They went to Ocherius and proposed to him what they had found in Ocherius and recommended to him that Ocherius was more suitable for them to be able to put on what he required. It ended up that he vetoed that for Portland again in the end. They arrived in Jamaica on Friday morning at 4 a.m. in the morning and all traveled. He was here from before on his private yacht, which was in the famous marina. And it was a weekend of activities between Friday and Sunday. They left Sunday night at 7:30, and it was just event after event, including air shows, fireworks, the whole 9 yards. The approximate figure spent for the weekend was $3 million.
Yes.
So you can imagine that every hotel, every Juterman, everybody in Port Antonio got
a little something. The first function, Mutty, was at Frenchman's Cove at 11:30 on Friday after they got in to have breakfast at the various villas and hotels. Everything was booked out, between security and the artists from overseas to perform, the whole 9 yards. Yes.
So this gentleman had to travel from the marina in Port Antonio, and the entrance to the marina, don't forget, is on Titchfield Hill now,
Yes.
It's not in the town itself. So you're really just going straight through Folly out to Frenchman's Cove. And he traveled to Frenchman's Cove for his first function at 11:30 by road,
Yes.
Now, once I heard that he was coming, you know that I would have to find a way to try and even get an introduction to him, to just let him know that Portland was open for business. Well, by Friday afternoon I received a call from the person who was trying to set it up for me.
Yes.
To say that the only thing that the gentleman would like me to do for him is at whatever cost to get the road fixed between the marina and Frenchman's Cove, because he is embarrassed to know that he has brought his guest here and they have to subject themselves to that type of inconvenience and uncomfortableness.
Hold on just a moment for me. Okay, thank you very much. We're back with you, sir.
Yes, Mutty. So I got a call on Friday evening.
About the road?
About the road. And basically this gentleman wanted the road to be fixed, patched out.
Yes.
So at least he could save some face in terms of the conditions.
Yes.
I got in touch with the local council representative, who was able to get a local contractor to fill the holes with some river shingle. Because of, it was inclement weather first of all, and second of all, you wouldn't have been able to pave the road road, or the spots in that shorter time, especially the fact that it was Friday and he was leaving on Sunday evening. So the councillor was able to do that and use a roller and a grader to try and just do a temporary situation, because obviously when the first rain comes down, it will wash it out because there's nothing to seal it.
Yes.
But after that, there was no possibility of me trying to encourage this gentleman to look at some long-term investments in Portland after, obviously, they had the most spectacular time enjoying themselves with the climate and, of course, the beauty of Portland.
Yes.
They were at Frenchman's Cove, they had party at Trident, at Camille, they had a time of their life. But it comes back to what you and I have been discussing, which is why I really call you, because you and I have been discussing this for months. There is no way that you're going to be able to create employment and to get Portland and the people of Portland back to a situation where they can earn their keep unless the government commits the necessary funding to rehabilitate the infrastructure in Portland. And no highway and no marina alone is going to do it, because...
Well, look here, Mr. Vaz. This is not a Portland problem. This is a Jamaica problem. Right? Once upon a time in this country, back in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, we were not talking about 2% economic growth. Right? In fact, economic growth was hardly part of the vocabulary. Right? What we were talking about was economic development. The transformation of the economy of this country from a primary producing, basically agricultural economy into an industrial economy, right? Manufacturing and all that kind of thing, right? We've abandoned that. That was abandoned in the early 1970s by the Manley regime, and we haven't yet got back to it, right? I don't hear... I heard the Prime Minister mention economic development the other day, but in a way that tells me that she doesn't really understand what economic development is about, right? And for us to get the kind of investment, the present government, when I say the present government, the government that has been governing since 1989, has encouraged the capitalists in Jamaica, the people in Jamaica who own capital,
to put it in the bank.
To put it not in the bank, to put it into government paper, right? Not into productive investment, right? And what they can make, putting it into government paper, is more than they could have made with a lot less trouble and effort than had they put it into manufacturing.
There's no incentive,
Right? And in addition to that, there are all kinds of problems that are in the way, right? If you come to Jamaica, and if that gentleman that you talked about, had he decided to come to Jamaica and put an investment in here, you realize that he would be undertaking to pay taxes to service the debt that Dr. Davis has accumulated.
Absolutely.
From which, of course, he would be getting no benefit whatever.
Absolutely.
Right?
But Mutty, when you look at as an example, this gentleman that came this weekend, and you can talk about somebody that has sent people here to do the groundwork and the ground checks,
yes,
and realize that his guests are going to have to travel in 20 15-seater or coaster buses from Norman Manley through St. Thomas to Portland. Yes? When anywhere else in the world, in Bahamas or anywhere else you go, you jump from one plane to the next and you hop to any island that you want.
Yes.
And we have a situation where in the Gleaner last week, Dennis Morrison from Airports Authority and Tourist Board said the reason why Ken Jones closed is because Dragon Bay closed. Yes? So therefore, coming back to the same point, we have a hotel with an owner that has committed to expand the hotel and make it one of the finest spas in the Caribbean.
Yes.
His guests are going to be Europeans, yes, which have to come to London from wherever they are and take an 8 or 9 hour flight into Montego Bay. There's no way that he can get them to Portland without airlifting them, because it's between the flight and the drive. It's too much.
Yeah.
The airstrip is there, which this gentleman could have used this weekend to bring all his people over and hop them over from Kingston or Montego Bay. But Stewart can do the same from Montego Bay. 500 jobs, direct jobs, which probably end up at 2,000 indirect. Plus the farmers, as a start, we're just talking about a start, the farmers that are battering themselves in the back of the truck to get to Coronation Market on a Thursday night for the weekend to come back Saturday, could get rid of a lot of their produce right there. And yet still, we still are arguing about whether or not the airport is in a suitable location, whether it can expand, whether it should look for a new site, and this has been going on for years. And what it shows is that Jamaica, despite its shortcomings and its lack of infrastructure, is still cited as one of the premier destinations, not in the Caribbean, in the world. The chairman of BMW flew in his private jet into Montego Bay some time ago, and you have heard stories like this before. He stays on his aircraft while his pilots go and do what they need to do to get the paperwork done. It usually takes 10 to 15 minutes in any other country. Yes?
Yes.
Because they are prepared to accept that level of tourists that is coming in their private jet. After half an hour, they came back to tell him that they were still trying to get through. 45 minutes, an hour. Well, at an hour and 15 minutes, you know what he did? He sent for them and told them, don't bother with the paperwork to get in. Get the paperwork to get out, because we're leaving here now. And that is several stories like that in the past. So the fact of the matter is, until we have a government that is serious about development, which tourism falls under, yes? We're wasting time. And the truth is that, yes, Portland got a big injection this weekend, and the hoteliers can pay the light bill and the phone bill. A few little workers who got some good tips can pay their light bill and their back school fees, etc., and fill them prescription. But after 2 days, guess what? We are back to what? Where we were before, which is what? Poverty. Because you won't see him again. That's for sure. Whereas we would have hoped that he would have been left here to say that he will be back soon. What is he coming back to, Mutty? Coming back to have to spend 10,000 out in pocket to patch some roads?
Yes.
So I just wanted to because we have had this discussion so often. And guess what? It's not impossible, Mutty. A little vision and a little commitment and the willpower. Just like how you spend the money.
Well, I gather there's a substantial provision in the budget for fixing roads all over the island.
Well, when you look at last year's allocation to this year, you know you're into election.
Yes.
Because last year was hundreds of millions, and this one is, I think it's 2-point-something billion.
Yes.
But guess what? What kind of quality of fixing are we going to get? Is that road work going to be given to the genetically connected, so that the first 2 showers of rain, and you start to see the thing lifting,
yes,
and after the 4th shower of rain, spending 2.6 billion.
Hopefully the rain will fall after the election.
Well, there you go, Mutty. But let me tell you, this I wanted to just highlight this to you because it's always good to have an example of what you're speaking about.
Yes.
Because this was an opportunity for Portland, second to none. I would have loved to have been able to interest him and get a commitment for him for investment. Whether it be his own villa, one of many that I'm sure he has around the world, whether or not he'd want to do something to help the place in terms of employment and start some business or do something. But guess what? As long as we continue to look at things and do things the way we are, we're going nowhere in a hurry.
I can agree with that, sir.
So I hope that your listeners would find it interesting and realize that these are opportunities that we're missing every day.
All right, Mr. Voss. Thank you very much. Okay, hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello?
Morning, Mr. Perkins.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes?
Morning, Mr. Perkins.
Morning, sir, morning.
I was listening to the Prime Minister's...
Would you speak up a bit for me?
I was listening to the Prime Minister's speech last night.
Last night?
Last night, yes.
This is at the
National Arena.
Oh, is that so?
Yes.
You were at the function?
No, it was on Cliff Hughes' program.
Oh?
Yes. In her speech, I think at the last part of the broadcast, she says that in her budget debate, she's gonna address family life.
Oh. Yes, I heard that.
And it made me so depressed.
What?
It makes me so depressed.
It made you wonder whether the Prime Minister knew what the budget was about.
Yes, because talking about family life, our politicians should be role models for our young men. And couple weeks ago, watching the CVM newscast, there was this item about the Sandals White House probe.
Yes.
When Mr. Knight says, "These little creatures behind me," he was calling the opposition members little creatures. Now, what are we going to tell our young men when in debating or discussing public issues, we are so abusive to each other?
Well, hold on. Well, I don't know. It may not have been I wouldn't have regarded that as abusive. I wouldn't have used that term. But
well, it was disrespectful. It was suggested that Mr. Patterson could probably bring closure to the probe. And he insisted that neither Mr. Patterson nor the present Prime Minister will be allowed. You can't bring them here.
Yes, hold on just a moment for me. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online. Hello?
Yes, Mr. Perkins. She was saying that children can't be in school and fighting. She's going to address that. And it take me back to memories of the past. I'm not saying that before this government take over the country, we didn't have Danmans and era leaders and all of that. But it reached to a point now where every Danman wants to be recognized because it has been allowed to escalate. And as far as I can remember, it first begins when the police took Zeeks to address a crowd of people when he was arrested. Secondly, a famous Danman, when he was killed, his body was churched at our national arena. Now, what are we going to tell our young men in school? If when they see that, hey, to be recognized, you have to be big, bad, and bold. It was after the gas strike that the then Prime Minister went down to Matches Lane and said thanks to the Danman there for not allowing his people to be involved in a demonstration. Now, What can we tell our young men now? What can these people
Look here, sir.
tell our young men?
Look here. Some years ago, you see, it was during the 1980s, the early 1980s, right? My wife was on an aircraft coming up from Trinidad, and the aircraft stopped in another of the islands. I can't remember which one at the moment. And a certain Jamaican politician, a prominent Jamaican politician, and no prominent Jamaican politician, boarded the plane at that point and came and sat beside her in the aircraft. And they got talking. And this politician was telling her about developments that were occurring at the constituency level in what are called, the politician said that in the past, the political gangs and the leaders of those gangs the gangs and leaders of those gangs were heavily dependent upon the politicians, right?
Yes.
To favor them with the distribution of scarce benefits and spoils out of the consolidated fund, right?
Yes.
And the Dons acquired a position of prominence from the fact that they had the contact with the politician. They could get hold of the scarce benefits and spoils and in turn redistribute them within the constituency, right? But this politician said that a change was occurring.
Yes.
These men had been supplied with guns and, facilitated in all sorts of ways. But they were now getting into a position where they were finding other uses for the guns, which had initially come largely from the politicians, right? And they were getting into other forms of money making that were providing them with far greater incomes than the consolidated fund could afford them, right? Drugs, for example, right?
Yes.
And this politician said, foresaw a point shortly to come about, at which when the politician went into the constituency, it wouldn't be the gangster, the Don, that would be kowtowing to him, right?
Yes.
It would be the politician that would be kowtowing to the Don, right?
And that is now happening.
Well, you can tell me. You can tell me.
She also went on to talk about to defend the using of the NIS funds.
Yes.
And again, that make me so angry. My father.
Will you hold on a moment for me, sir?
Well.
Hold on a moment for me. I'll come back to you. Hello? Yes?
Hello?
Yes?
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Hi, Mr. Perkins.
Yes, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Stephen Shaw from the Works Agency.
Yes,
I gather there were some issues being discussed. A decision that we took out in Portland to have a bridge, work that was being done on a bridge, Silver Hill Gap, stopped. I'm not sure what you have been told, but I gather that you have been receiving calls relating to this particular bit of work that was being done.
Yes.
I just wanted to set the record straight that the work was stopped by the Works Agency on account of the concerns that
a politician was with you at the time when it was stopped.
No. Wait. When you say a politician, what do you mean?
A politician.
There were politicians there.
There were politicians.
Yes. The member of parliament was there.
Who?
The member of parliament for the constituency was there. But
and who else?
The minister, the state minister for works, was also there.
Mr. who?
Minister Richard Azan.
Oh yes.
There. Yes. Now, what happened is that the team from the works agency, the regional manager, parish manager, and myself they were going through the community, and we saw this bit of work. I actually stopped to inquire what was happening on this particular roadway at this particular area.
Yes.
And I was told that work was being done on the rails, and now this bit of work I would have been aware of, and I did ask, who was doing it.
Yes. Meaning
which contractor, because I would have heard some names, and I was told that it was a community effort. Now, when the technical officers arrived, this is about 5 minutes later, and they observed what was taking place, and
how was it possible for them to have arrived 5 minutes later?
We were traveling in separate vehicles, and they were they had stopped further down the road.
Oh, I see.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they indicated that we have certain standards as it relates to how bridge rails are supposed to be done. Now, these standards, we have to ensure that they are followed so that we can ensure some amount of safety for the persons who have to use these very important structures. Now, they are set a drawing.
I mean, this is a commitment of yours.
Yes.
To ensure the safety of people who have to use these structures.
Yes.
All
right.
And is the safety of the people who have to use those structures assured by the non-existence of the rails?
But no. Let us speak to the particular incident, and then we can get to the other business of rails generally.
No.
Right?
It just occurred to me.
Yes.
From what you said.
Yes.
That you want to ensure the safety.
Yes.
Of the people.
Yes.
But the bridge has been there without rails.
No.
For years.
No, not on the contrary, that's not the case.
No?
The bridge here, we have a particular problem with this particular bridge at Silver Hill Gap. We have repaired the rails time and time again, and what happens is that you have large units that use this particular roadway, and the bridge rails get damaged from time to time. Right? And it's a problem that we have here, because the bridge is at an angle which is quite acute.
So the bridge is inadequate for the traffic that it has to carry?
No, well, when the bridge was designed many years ago, it would have been adequate. But given the kind of developments that we now see in the country, and certainly in this area, you'll find from time to time large units going through, and these units often do some damage to our infrastructure. And one of the things that we have been looking at is where damage is done to such road furniture. We want to be able to claim, because sometimes allow me. Sometimes persons can do better. Sometimes it's because of carelessness on their part why we get some of the road furniture being destroyed. Now, relating to the particular
but sometimes
incident,
it has to do with the design. The inadequacy of the design.
By the design.
For the purpose which it has to.
The bridge is a single lane bridge. It is a single lane bridge.
Yes. And you say that the approach to the bridge is acute.
No, yeah. The bridge is.
And that is what accounts for the damage that so often occurs.
I'm not saying that is what accounts.
But that is the impression you get.
No, I'm not saying that may be a factor, right? But I couldn't tell you that is what accounts for it.
But then, Mr. Shaw, would it not be better?
Yes.
You say that at the time when that bridge was first designed,
Yes.
So many scores of years, so many years ago, decades ago. It was adequate for the purpose. But now things have changed, technology has changed, and so on.
Yes.
Would it not be better, Mr. Shaw, to redesign the bridge?
Yes.
And put there an adequate structure that can bear the kind of traffic that is going to be using it,
yes.
rather than keep putting back the rails and them being knocked down and putting back, and then you try to find out who knocked them down so you can get some money from them to put it back.
Okay, all right. It would be better.
Hold on just a moment for me, please. Okay, thank you very much. We're back with you, Mr. Shaw.
Yes,
hello?
Mr. Perkins, yes.
Yeah,
Right, I was about to make the point that insofar as the structure is concerned, it is safe, right? In terms of its adequacy to meet current demands, yes, we may have an issue there, but when we look at the number of bridges that we have on our network, it's really a matter of, resources and resource constraints. The bridge is sound, aside from the rails which get damaged from time to time. Now we have, as part of our ongoing bridge maintenance and rehabilitation program, been looking at replacing bridges right around the country, and to replace a bridge is you need quite a bit of money, upwards of $20 million, right, to have it replaced. Now, this is not money that we would have at our disposal right now, and the fact that even though there's a problem with this, but with the rails on this particular bridge,
$20 million,
upwards of
$20 million,
yes, depending on what you're going to be putting in.
That would be somewhat less than $9 billion.
Sorry?
That would be somewhat less than $9 billion.
What, 9 million or billion?
Billion. Well,
billion?
Somewhat less than was spent on Sabina Park, for example.
I cannot speak to those things, and you know that. That is not for me to speak about.
No, but it is what I'm saying is either factual or not.
No,
the money that was spent on Sabina Park would have replaced that bridge and left change.
Well, that is something that you can pick up with someone else.
Okay.
I am not able to speak on that.
Okay.
Now, that is where we are. We have to ensure that the persons can go across, to and fro in an appropriate way. Now, we don't have a difficulty working with a community, our community groups, and their leadership. Now, what we are saying is that come in and let us sit down, talk about it. We agree on what is supposed to be done and how it is to be done, so that at the end of the day, we don't have a situation where what you put in might end up being more dangerous than what actually is there now.
How could that be?
It could be because if you're going to be walking across the flat bridge, for argument's sake,
yes,
you're going to be very careful. You may walk in the middle when there's no vehicle coming. And it's a similar situation. Now, if you have rails, right, that are not secure enough, and you go there and you may think that, I can go and lean and look over. What happens if those rails give way? Right? Because of that false sense of security that would have been in your head.
Yes.
So we are concerned about that. The spacing between the uprights. That again we have to look at. Right? There are some sections that how the persons would execute the work, in terms of the quality. We have to ensure that, we look at those things.
Yes.
So it is not that we want to go out and stop and dampen dampen the enthusiasm of the persons out there. No, we are not saying that. All we are saying is that let us work together, and we are far down the road with that.
But didn't you stop the work? Has it started again?
No. Well, the Mr. Vaz
gave us some information. There is a gentleman whose name he has given to our Portland parish manager. There was supposed to be a meeting yesterday for the Portland technical team and this individual to go out and look and agree on the way forward. It was raining out there and they were not able to do so. The gentleman could not make the meeting. They have rescheduled this for tomorrow. And thereafter we expect that things will go through accordingly.
I see.
So we don't have a problem.
Mr. Vaz knows about this?
Groups. Sorry?
Mr. Vaz knows about
I
this?
am sure that he knows about it.
You're sure?
Yes. Because
but you haven't told him yourself?
No. His point man there is a gentleman. I think the name Golab comes to mind. Don't know the person, never met him, but that is the name I believe that was given to our Portland team, and he's the person who we would expect would have been keeping Mr. Vaz in the loop, because he's the person who is dealing directly with Mr. Vaz.
So what you're saying is that it is your intent. But when was this work stopped?
That would have been last week Wednesday, I believe.
Last week Wednesday.
Yes.
Okay. So what you're telling me is that you're going to be cooperating with these people, just to ensure that the standards by which the work is carried out are adequate.
That is what we're saying.
I see.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's very good. Any news about the Broadgate Bridge?
Broadgate, we have been trying to do some work down there, but because the river has been in spate, an attempt was made last week, Wednesday, for us to start the soil investigations, because we will need to put in a pier or a column, if you may, let me call it that. So most people understand column. Put in a column in the river to facilitate the erection of a new bridge, and but we have to find out what is underneath what is in the channel. So this will now inform us as to how we design this column or pier for this area. The team should have been back out there yesterday. I have not gotten from them an update, but all being well, the soil investigation should be completed by this week, and then we'll be moving swiftly to have the pier constructed. And while this is taking place, the components for the bridge should be on site. Everything that we intend to do will have to be done within the river channel, and that's why it is so important that we have some amount of dryness or some sunny days, because if it rains, nothing can be done in the channel, and we cannot assemble the bridge elsewhere and then go and launch. We have to assemble it there and then lift it into position.
What a pity this wasn't done, say 6 months ago, even 6 months ago.
Yes. I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Well, I mean, had it been done 6 months ago, a lot of pain and inconvenience would have been avoided.
Yes. Maybe you could speak to the parish council on that one.
To the parish council?
Yes.
Well, I don't understand that. Why the parish council?
It is a parish council bridge. We have been asked to assist in...
It is a parish council bridge?
Yes, it is a parish council bridge.
And you have been asked to assist?
Yes.
What makes it a parish council bridge?
It's on a parochial road. It's on a parochial road.
It's not on a road?
It is on a parochial road.
That bridge is not on a road, mister.
What is it on? What is it? Where does it lead to?
It leads across the river.
Yes.
To where people live.
Okay.
But is there a road there? Well,
that is a question that maybe you need to ask the council and the mayor for Port Maria.
As far as I'm aware, yes, it's a walkway from the road in Broadgate to the bridge over to the other side of the river, and a walkway from there into where the people live.
Yes. As I understand it, there's a roadway there, and it's a local road.
It's a local road.
Yes.
But why wasn't that told to the parish? So
I cannot answer that question,
No.
As to why parish council wasn't told. I couldn't answer that.
Because the parish council did complain to the ministry that the bridge was in bad shape. Right? And as I understand it,
yes.
I understand that the ministry did not respond.
Well, I don't speak for the ministry, so.
You don't speak for the ministry. I see.
I couldn't respond to that.
But you are being asked to do it now.
To assist in everything a new one, yes.
But I don't understand that. If it is a parish council road, a bridge.
The works agency.
Why is the work agency being asked to do it?
When you have an emergency situation, as we have when rain has fallen and roadways become impassable, we are the first point of contact insofar as responding is concerned. And we have been asked to respond in this situation, as we would have done had it been a flood situation where communities become cut off.
I see. So the tragedy has to occur before you come into. That is your signal to get into the thing and do something.
It is not. We have been asked to assist.
If the bridge,
and that's what we're doing.
Yes, but if the bridge is defective, you are not called in. It is when the bridge is washed away and people were in danger of losing their lives and all this kind of thing. That is when it is seen fit to call you in.
No. No. If
hold on just a moment. Okay, thank you very much. We're back with you, Mr. Shaw.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Perkins. I said, yes, Mr. Perkins.
Yes.
Hearing you.
Yes, it's a pity that they waited until the parish council claims that the bridge wasn't there. They claimed that in any event they had no money to do it, and central government would have had to allocate the money to them. You were in a position to do it.
No. Who tells you that we were?
You weren't in a position to do it.
No, we weren't in any position to carry. I mean, we have. Remember, the responsibility for roads. It has been split. So you have us with a responsibility for the main roads, and the whatever it goes with it, meaning the bridges, and all that goes with it. And you have the local authorities that have the community or provincial.
Well, let me ask you something. Do the local authorities have the engineering capacity to do work like that?
Like what?
Like building that bridge.
That is why we have been asked so to do.
Yeah, but then, Mr. Shaw.
But it wasn't a situation of building a bridge.
But I don't understand you then. The engineering the capabilities.
Yes.
The parish council does not have.
Yes.
They do not have the money. But you're telling me that the bridge is a parish council bridge?
No. To construct is one thing. To maintain is something completely different. The same way we can construct roads, we build roads and
yes,
then you have a maintenance.
That is not the issue here, because the parish council was reporting to the ministry that the bridge was in a dangerous condition. And that wasn't an issue of maintenance. It needed to have some reconstruction.
It was an issue of maintenance based on what I've heard.
Based on what you've heard?
Yes, it was a maintenance issue.
Oh, then it could be a maintenance issue if the bridge collapsed in the way that it did. That bridge needed replacing, not maintaining.
Well,
am I right?
I don't know that you're correct with that.
You don't know that I'm correct, but you don't know that I'm wrong either.
Well,
I see.
I'm not in a position to answer that one.
All right, sir. Anyway, I gather that there are some other bridges all around the island that are not a similar condition.
No, we have on our network. We have roughly 750 or so bridges, and we have identified about 100 and something that we know are in different stages of this repair. We have come up.
Some of them in dangerous condition.
No, well, I wouldn't go as far as to say that, because if where they are considered to be in a dangerous condition, we move and we have them closed.
You have them closed?
Yes, we have done so. Right, and
how many of them have you closed?
Pedro River comes to mind. That's one that is being worked on as we speak out in St. Anne. We went there, we inspected, and the decision was taken to close immediately, and that we did. Now, so we have those. We have three.
That means that people were passing
we have
over
three
that
different
bridge.
programs that we are
were in danger of something serious happening to them.
New bridges under. We have the Arimori Bridge program, where this program is now being rolled out, where we are going to be replacing some 20-odd bridges.
Yes.
We also have the Maybe and Johnson program that is in progress. It's a supply program, and we are going to be looking at having some more bridges constructed.
Well, I gather you're getting a hell of a fund from the current budget, the budget that is been tabled in Parliament.
Well,
that you're getting rather more money for doing roads and so on than you have had for a very long time.
Well, I don't know that is the situation.
You haven't looked?
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
No.
And you haven't heard what is in the budget for you?
No, I have heard some figures, but that's about it. I've heard some numbers.
But those are rather huge numbers.
You see, you have to be very careful when you hear numbers, because hearing the numbers is one thing, but you have to
getting the money is another.
You have to disaggregate those numbers and see what goes where. Yes.
But I'm talking about the numbers in relation the funds that have been allocated for or are being allocated, or are being proposed.
Yeah, but when you
for road works.
Yes, but you have we have work right now ongoing, and some of that I'm sure would be to pay for work which is now taking place.
Oh, is that so? But you have,
for example, we have segments 2 and 3 of the North Coast Highway that are going on.
There's a bridge at Eden Park in St. Mary.
Yes.
What's the position with that one?
That one, a new structure is supposed to be built out there. In the meantime, we have put up a weight limit sign out there. A detour is supposed to be created for persons to use, and progress is being made in this regard.
Progress is being made?
Yes.
I see. It's a pity that the bridges couldn't be maintained and roads could not be maintained in rather better condition than they are.
Well, Mr. Perkins, let me say this. Now, when bridges are built, they're built for upwards of maybe 50 years in the first instance, and with regular maintenance, you can take them up to maybe 75 years.
Yes.
And
up to what?
Up to 75 and
they're built for 50.
Yeah.
But they are
generally speaking. Generally speaking.
But they usually run for 75.
With proper maintenance, you can go a little longer.
But obviously we don't have proper maintenance.
Sorry?
We don't have proper maintenance.
No, I think we have had. I would say that we can do a bit more, and we are looking to do that, because we know it is cheaper to maintain what you now have than to go and
yes, but there's so many bridges that are are in bad condition.
No, but I'm saying to you that we have identified
including a number couple that we have been talking about here.
No, but I'm saying to you, Mr. Perkins, that we have identified bridges across the island that are in need of whether upgrade of some sort or complete replacement. And we are going through doing this through different programs. On the North Coast, for example, between Ocherius and Port Antonio, we have 22 bridges that are going to be improved, including.
When is that going to be? During this year?
Yes, and they've started.
They've started.
Yes, work is going on. We have
obviously
there's box culverts.
There is some event coming up.
No,
which makes it necessary.
This work commenced from 2005.
2005?
Yes, December 2005.
Well, wasn't there any doubt in December 2005 that an event of some importance would be coming up either during 2006 or during 2000?
Well, Jamaica, we always have important events in Jamaica.
But I was hearing about a situation in Portland. Mr. Vaz was telling me about a gentleman, a rather very wealthy man who came here. And, he was trying to nudge him into making an investment in Jamaica, in Portland. But apparently the man was very concerned about the condition of roads there.
Yes. Portland has suffered over the last 5 or so years through many flood events that we have had.
Many what?
Flood events, rains. We have had it 01 flood rains. We had 02. We had again in 03. I mean, a number of flood events Portland has experienced.
Yes, and you had in 1932, in 1938,
I don't know. If you look at Mr. Perkins, if you look at what has happened in last year, we got some sort of respite, thankfully, right? But the years previous to 2006, certainly since the agency, we have had a number of flood events resulting in
Portland is a parish in which you expect floods any year.
No.
Every year. If they don't come 1 or 2 years, you're happy.
Yeah.
Right?
No, but wait. But flooding is one thing, but floods on the scale that we have seen in when Swift River, for example, the entire community was covered, when houses were covered under many feet of sand and stone and so on. Right? You had that. We have situations in the
And what did that have to do with? Was it just a matter of flooding, or was it the inadequacy of river training?
No. We have been doing quite a bit of river training in this particular parish. We have been. The fact is, between St. Mary, Portland, and St. Thomas, you find the most rivers and you find the most bridges on our road network.
But when was that not so, Mr. Shaw?
No.
Look here, I'm sorry, I have to leave you. It's time for the news. We're out of time.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, that brings us to news time. We'll be back here in about 20 minutes. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online, and we go directly to our telephones. Hello?
Mr. Perkins?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm going down to the Middle East. About 6 weeks ago. The Palestinians had a problem within themselves. The Fatah and the Hamas had a lot of fight. The King of Arabia called them and tried to settle the issue. Three times before he could settle the issue.
Arabia?
Huh?
The King of Arabia?
Yes, sir.
Oh, who is that?
I don't remember his name.
Anyway.
The Saudis.
Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
Oh, I see, yes.
Yeah. Call them and settle the matter, and they have a unity government now. About a week after that, he went to Washington and addressed the joint house. both the House of Representatives and Congress.
Yes.
And begging America. He beseeched America to assist in having peace between Palestine and Israel. He actually begging them. He wasn't he didn't go in a quarrel state, but he was begging them. What he was really saying is in their power to have peace in Israel. After that, the Secretary of State Rice went and talked to the two leaders, both Israel and
yes.
After that, the same king of Saudi Arabia had a conference to revive our peace plan, a 5-year peace plan that went under and called everybody except Israel. Well, last week now, the Chancellor of Germany, Angela, went to and saw the Prime Minister of Israel, and he agreed now to have a conference with everybody to a peace. This is the first it ever goes so far in trying to achieve peace. You heard, Mr. Perkins?
Yes. So what's the point you're making?
Well, Bible prophecy is being fulfilled.
Oh?
Yeah.
Bible prophecy?
Well, they are going to achieve a certain degree of peace.
Oh.
But it's not going to last.
Oh.
The Bible says, whenever the nations are saying peace and security. What you say after that? Sudden destruction. Sudden destruction.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah, so this peace that they are going to arrive is going to be temporary. But what is going to be destroyed, they are going to blame religion for interfering in this peace process.
Oh, is that so?
And the fall of it. So as a result, they are going to turn on, the politicians of this world is going to turn on false religion.
On false religion?
Yeah.
I see.
And
you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
From the world scene. As a result, the false religion would be destroyed instantly.
Is that so?
Yes, sir.
I see.
That's what the Bible says.
So which will be the religions that are not false and that will be sustained?
Well, there's one, the true religion. The true religion.
Which two?
The true, not two.
Which is the true religion?
Yeah. So,
which is the true religion, and how do you determine that?
If you do not want to share in our sins or in our plagues or in our destruction, you must come out of our.
Who is that?
No, Jehovah God. Say, if you do not want to share in our destruction, you have to get out of our false religion.
I see.
So, that is the point I'm making.
All right, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hello? 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 What's
Hello?
That? Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Perkins.
Yes.
I've been trying to get you for the past 6 months.
You've done it.
I've done it. Thank God. Now, Mr. Perkins, about these age people thing that you hear the people are talking about, would you realize that each one of the PMP constituencies have a office that's taking out age people for people in their constituencies?
Oh, is that so?
Yes, sir. And that is the reason why the people cannot get the age paper.
Each one of the
constituencies, the PMP's constituencies. Yes, they have people that come there and collect up the people, them names and things like that, and get the age paper and carry it back and issue it to the people.
Oh, is that so?
Yes, sir. I want to call you from the radio to tell you this.
How do you know this?
Sir?
How do you know this?
Because I happen to get one sort out that way.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, sir.
By going to the PNP office?
Not to the PNP office, sir. They come to the constituency, they have they meet at a home or at a place, and the people come there to
So how do the people know where they're going to meet?
Well, to each area. Right, like you are living in each area here. If like someone will come with from them, someone will come and say to them, so listen, they will be at this place this week, and then all the people who need the age people.
Yes, but hold on a minute now, sir. Let us say that I need a birth certificate.
Yes.
Right? What do I do?
You will hear from whether the caretaker or whosoever is in control. Like that they're coming to.
Well, how do I know? Ordinarily, anybody.
Not everybody. They don't do it for everybody.
Hold on. Ordinarily, a person who needs a birth certificate goes to the Registrar General's department.
Yes.
Right? But you're telling me that there is another way of doing it, going to a meeting at a house in your constituency. I'm asking you, how do I know that where the meeting is going to be held? You say the caretaker or MP for the constituency will tell.
I did not say the MP, sir. I say the caretaker.
The caretaker.
For the place, for the hearer, whichever hearer they go in this week, then somebody will hear that is this.
Now, how will the caretaker know that I want a birth certificate in order to come to tell me?
Listen what I'm saying to you.
Hold on just a moment.
You have a system.
Hold on a moment for me. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online. Hello? Hello? Oh, he's gone. Well, how very interesting. Two calls in succession. Most unusual, both of them. Hello? Hello?
Prentice, can you hear them? Can I put them in now?
Yes, I'm not hearing you, sir.
Hello?
Hello, yes?
Mr. Perkins?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, calling about cable and wireless.
Cable and wireless?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I got an internet service from them from December.
Uh-huh.
And they told me that 1 month will be free. So
1 month?
Yeah, 1 month will be waived.
1 month is the what?
They would waive 1 month.
Waiver. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So when they install internet, I haven't gained any access from them. I called them, I told them that I'm not getting through to the internet, and they came and they said there should be some problem with the line. And they said they sent out a bill. I haven't received any bill. The manager called and told me that to pay a bill. I tell her I did not receive any bill. How much is there on the bill? She couldn't tell me. And when I called, I was told that I wasn't the only one who didn't receive a bill. No, the phone is disconnected. It's a home phone with my credit, and I cannot make any call. And I called the contact center, and they're putting me through from place to place. No, I can't make any call. Hello?
Yes. So have you been in touch with them?
Yeah, I said I've been in touch with them, and they're putting me through from department to department, and it's not reaching anywhere.
Uh-huh.
So I want to know how I get back my credit on the phone and the line, because I'm using internet from the hook it up, because it's a fault of theirs, and I didn't get any bill.
Yes. Well, I suggest you, sir, that you write to them, right? Telling them what you have told me, and telling them that if they don't do something, give them a time limit, right? Tell them they have a week or whatever it is, 4 days in which to get it back, get your telephone reinstalled, back in service, and if not, you're going to be speaking to your lawyer, right?
Okay, Mr. Perkins.
Okay. Hello. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Perkins.
Hi, how you do?
Not bad, sir.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Perkins.
Yes.
Before I get to what I want to say to you, the pastor that talking to you about the true religion.
Yes.
And you asked him which is the true religion. Well, apparently I think he didn't hear what you said.
Uh-huh.
That's why I didn't give you. But that is easy to distinguish, you know, Mr. Perkins.
Yes, how you distinguish it?
Then the two religion, you have only two religion throughout the universe. Only two.
Which is that? Which are those?
And false.
What?
True and false.
True and false.
Yeah.
Now, how does one determine which is true and which is false?
You must know which one you're serving.
Yes? Or the one that you are serving is true.
Listen, sir. What you are serving, and you know what you are serving, you know you're doing the right. And every foot of the way, you do what is right. You don't tell people you send by God. For God send everyone away. You understand? God sent every one of us here.
Yes.
None of us did not come here by ourselves. So, you see, the preacher out there, which giving you the ism-kism, they are going to account for leading God people astray.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah.
But in the meantime, sir, how do we know that we're being led astray? How do we know which is true and which is false?
Mr. Perkins, is not the church you're going to follow and said this is the true church, you know, and is not that you're going by, you know, Mr. Perkins. You're going to do the right. You're going to, if you read in your Bible and you go instruct by your Bible and you follow it, if the Bible wrong, it's not your fault. You understand?
Yes.
But you see those people who taking people astray and tell you, say, don't go to that church, why it's not the right church. I surprise at them, but they must know them way out.
I see.
But I don't have the power for them to answer to me. They will answer to the Creator.
I see.
Anyway, Mr. Perkins.
Yes.
I hear Mr. Shaw.
Mr. who?
Mr. Stephen Shaw.
Oh, yes, yes.
I hear him there. What kind of, when will the company radio for?
Why you say that?
But Mr. Shaw no have no credibility if you talk for radio.
Oh, yes?
He can only talk for early morning, power 106. But he can't manage this.
Early morning, power 106?
Yeah.
Oh, he's good there.
But he can't manage midday.
I see what you mean. I'll follow you.
Now, Mr. Perkins, when even talking about your lean pan thing and it can give way, them people there were voluntary with them caretaker doing a better job more than anyone Stephen Shaw and him Coney them a do. You hear me tell you, sir? So, them look every time in Portland, St. Mary, them place St. Thomas, suffer it. You hear big money put up to do the work. And the work not done. Like how money put up to build house scheme in a riverbed.
What? Money put up for build house in outer sea?
Then no, Mr. Perkins, there's one of the scheme at St. Thomas. Now in a riverbed that scheme fall.
That was some time ago, yes.
Right. And one fall in the woodland when I start bush out yet. Don't it money pay up?
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
When them people really attack and have them come in like crayfish. They don't have no plan. All them people there, them contractor they should, them short pants would have wear out and replace.
Yes.
Remember, your money and my own. Me don't know if who give them put any in it, but me know them take mine.
Mm-hmm.
Them bully down my own and take it. And it's spend that way, Mr. Perkins.
Yes.
Can't that right?
No. No, sound right.
At least you know about the money we spend for the bridge. Oh, tire last time. You know, so the river gone with done.
Uh-huh.
But the house them were million paid for.
Yes.
And you know,
No. We paid for a no bill.
we pay for the handle bill. You understand? You don't know what happened to the money.
Yes.
But you know about the money for the bridge.
Well, money always in a somebody pocket, you know, or somebody bank account. Money don't just float around, you know.
But, well, well, I hear the morning program on Power 106 was giving credit for the Prime Minister first year in office.
Uh-huh.
And what he achieved. And so I suppose all what achieved is only to themselves.
Which morning program is that?
Morning program on your station.
Oh? It talked about the Prime Minister's,
Oh, you mean that you don't know what him have to talk about the achievement?
Is that so? So what were the achievements?
Yeah?
What were the achievements?
A good question, Mr. Perkins, but you're asking the wrong person.
But you don't know what the Prime Minister's achievements are?
The Prime Minister's achievement?
Yes.
Yes, I know one of them.
What is that?
Failure.
She achieved failure?
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
And that's the only one I could point out.
You're being unkind to the Prime Minister, man.
And, well, he had another one fine saying he would continue to build on the legacy of the Prime Minister Patrick.
Uh-huh.
So I suppose those two, they are good.
But she said she was going to deal with the problem of corruption.
Corruption?
Yes.
Then don't she deal with that already?
Has she?
Yes.
Has she dealt with it already?
She deal with that when she wasn't Prime Minister. Don't she send a man to prison?
Oh, that was a long, long time ago.
Well, the corruption dry up now.
Well, I don't know that she sent him. The court sent him to prison. The court sent him to prison.
Well, and the man sent himself to prison for his thief.
Yes, well.
If he didn't act wrongfully, he couldn't go to prison.
Uh-huh.
So that the man sent himself.
Well, the question is whether there are others who are acting wrongfully now and are not going to prison.
These, Mr. Perkins, these are no corruption, you know.
What are they?
These are just check and check.
I'll follow you.
You know, check. Your son come in and his car broke down and you were one, then take up the key and he use it.
Uh-huh.
Find what daddy won.
Yes. I see what you mean.
If you even come after and want it, you vex but are you son?
Yes, well, all right, sir.
So, okay. Mr. Perkins, you hear well fast. You're well straight, man.
All right, thank you very much.
Bye.
Okay, we'll take a break. We'll come back shortly. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online. Hello? Hello?
Yes, Mr. Perkins.
Good
afternoon.
Good
First
afternoon
time on the program.
Uh-huh.
I have a little grouse about another media station. I don't know if I can hear it on your program.
Well, why don't you... Well, let's hear it now, but don't bother to call their name at the moment.
No, it's a morning program with Dorian and Holland that split.
That what?
They just split them. They split them. They are not together again.
Which one is that?
RJR.
Oh, what is happening?
Yeah, and the 94 AM band. A lot of us can't pick up the FM band. So we only use the AM band, and it's nationwide, have it now.
Yes.
So because of that now, we can't hear that station again. Who can find the FM band? And usually depend on the AM band.
Well, I hear there are all kinds of things going on there.
Yeah, and the morning, Frank and up front, last week Monday morning was the last, and the 10-15 story that over all these years come, and they just make the change without saying anything to the public except for the 94. They did broadcast it, but with the moving of the people, they just split them up, and you have your
yes, I
favorite
hear
person and things like that.
And there, I don't know. I hear all kinds of strange things are going on there.
Yeah, I don't like what's going on.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what's.
No, I just hear it because you can complain to them about them, So that is why I complain.
I hear there are a lot of strange things going on.
Yeah, it's strange because me at 57, and I've been listening to that radio station from me have sense.
Yes.
From me have sense. I had was to move this morning till me find the station, and if I didn't hear your voice, I would know which station it was and sit down with the pen to get the number. But if you ask me anything about her, Jer, wake me out of my sleep, me can't tell you.
Well, I'm told that the chances are that a lot of familiar voices.
Yeah.
You might shortly be hearing no more.
Yes. But without any explanation, you must remember that you depend on the public, You can't turn on the radio and have anybody to listen. So you must take the listeners in consideration. You just make this whole heap of changes. Sometimes you wake up a man time, you feel down, and after the rain and Holland start 7:30 with a little chip chat. You feel rejuvenated.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I gather that is one of the programs affected, huh?
That's the main one. The main one, and the other thing is the AM band that a lot of us depend on because we cannot find the FM band. The Spanish come in and you get a lot of noise, so you just depend on the AM band. A lot of my friends now can't listen to it again. They have to just stick with nationwide.
Yes.
Because that is what you get, plain and clear.
Where do you live?
I live in Chapelton, Clarendon.
Oh, in Clarendon.
Yeah, and a lot of people in like Sangsterzite, Lower Chapelton, Crossroad, and in the Chapelton itself, they're having the same problem.
Yes.
No AM or JR again. So who can find the FM band just get knocked?
Yes, well, I know that the FM band also has a lot of problems with it.
Yes, we have a lot of problems, and if you make the station slip from you, you can't find it back. It's pure Spanish.
Yes, it is difficult to pick up.
Yes.
Sometimes.
So because of that, my dial just stay upon the AM band all the while, but no, none of that. You have to just keep tuning to. So they force you to listen to other people now. They force you to listen to other people now, and I don't think that is good. That good for us, the listeners. They don't have no respect for us.
Well, I hear that there are a lot of problems there.
Well, they have problem until they can't able to solve it, and then shake themselves outside.
Okay.
Because we are going stray.
All right, Mom.
Okay, Mr. Perkins. Nice talking to you.
Okay, all the best to you too. Okay, hello?
Hi, Mutty.
Hello, sir. Mr. Chuck?
Yes, how are you?
Not too bad. How are you?
Not too bad. I'm taking a short luncheon break. From, we have the finance committee.
Oh, the budget.
This morning.
Eh?
Yes. The budget estimates we are presently going through.
Yes. And you are very impressed with the budget.
Monty, it is a disaster. First of all,
I beg your pardon?
It is a total disaster.
Are you serious?
Yes. I mean, let's take one or two matters. About some 2 odd years ago, I told you the amount of interest payments that were being made on the budget. At the time, I told you it was $90 billion.
$90 billion.
And you were amazed. Well, since then, last year the estimate was interest payments of 92 billion.
92 billion.
But it actually ended up at $97 billion. And this year the estimate is just under $102 billion in interest payments alone.
$102 billion
in interest payments.
In interest payments to service the debt.
Mutty, I don't think your listeners and the people of Jamaica appreciate the amount of interest that we're paying.
Well, hold on, sir. I hear people raising hell about $9 billion spent on Cricket World Cup.
Exactly.
This is more than 10 times that.
Exactly.
Right?
And I'm saying to you, Mutty, that over the last 5 years or so, we have spent in excess of $500 billion on interest payments. In other words, $500 billion.
Yes.
You know, Mutty, that could have... Can you imagine if we even had half of it? Because it may be that some of it has to be paid. You know, if we had managed the economy well, maybe less than half of it would have had to be paid on our national debt. But because we've managed the economy badly, we're paying double or more the amount of interest payments now. Just think that even if half of it was available, how many roads would have been fixed, how hospitals would be doing, the schools would be doing, how Jamaica would be progressing.
What and the interest rates
is going
have gone down. But we're paying more for interest.
You have a situation, Mutty, where interest rates have gone down significantly over the last 3 years.
Yes.
From perhaps 18 to 15 to 12%. And we're still paying more on interest payments on our national indebtedness. And, you know what, it shows just the payments on the interest suggest we're digging a deeper hole for ourselves.
Well, where is this going to end, Mr. Chuck?
Well, one thing is clear, Mutty. It's like the pyramid scheme. It only ends when it collapses. You see, once you can get money to borrow, and once your first priority is to pay your debt, which it is under the Constitution, then it can continue until it collapses. And I must admit, I am surprised that it has collapsed long ago, but the reason I believe why it has not collapsed long ago is for the last 10 years, Mutty, we have collected, or we have got in this country, in excess of 15 billion United States dollars from remittances.
Yes.
In other words, remittances. Due to the hopelessness in this society, our people have had to migrate, work, and send money for their children and parents and old people, have contributed 15 billion United States dollars to the economy, which, as you have pointed out many times, if they were working here, might be double or triple.
No, a lot more than that. It would probably be 10 times that.
Probably 10 times that much.
In terms of their output.
Yes. So, you know, when you ask me, what is the budget like? I have to say it's obviously heading in the wrong direction, in that just looking at the interest payments alone, with the increase that we have seen over the last several years, we are definitely heading in the wrong direction.
Yes.
And you see, Mutty, when you remember it was Ronnie Tweets that said that under this economic model, we're transferred wealth from the poor to the rich.
Yes.
And it is obvious, Mutty, because who benefits from these interest payments? Certainly not the poor.
The people who can lend money.
The people who can lend money, and that is the rich foreigners and the rich Jamaicans.
Yes.
So that the people who can have surplus to lend to the government, they're the ones, who are benefiting, not the poor people. The poor people are being denied and deprived.
Well, what the poor people need is not money being spent on government paper, earning high interest rates. It is money put into productive investment,
where they can get
which
jobs.
Creates a demand for labor.
Exactly, Mutty.
Right, and gives them the opportunity to produce wealth and to earn some of it for themselves.
Absolutely. And this is a government, Mutty, that advocates, shouts, and tell us that it is for the poor.
Yes.
When its economic policy is to strangulate the poor people.
Well, Mr. Chuck, do I hear the opposition making enough of this?
No, Mutty. To be fair, over the last 2 years, we're pointing that out. Audley Shaw and Bruce Golding, and to a lesser extent myself, we have tried to emphasize that this economic model is definitely a vortex of decline. We have made that point many times, Monty, and this year again we are going to go back to show.
That isn't being taken seriously by the country, so we hear all kinds of economic commentators telling us that the economy is on the verge of a takeoff.
Well, you know, Monty, that was what we were told in the early 90s. And
yes.
The result was...
No, before that.
Well...
Before that.
The early 90s.
In the 1970s.
Yes, okay.
We were told every year by Mr. Manley that the economy is
on the verge of a takeoff.
No, it's on the... What? Oh, gosh, there was a famous thing, man. I remembered it up to yesterday. Anyway,
the point is that whenever they say that, Monty... Whenever you hear the government and its supporters saying that, it means, that we're going for an economic fall.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever heard a story of where Mobutu, you remember the former president?
Yes.
Who, given the State of the Union address, said that, speaking on the economy, last year we stood on the edge of a precipice. This year we're taking a giant step forward.
Who was that?
Mobutu. Mobutu in Zaire.
Yes.
In the Congo, right? Giving the State of the Union address.
Well, has Dr. Davis said that in Parliament yet?
Well, not yet, but when he spoke of the economy, he said last year we stood on the edge of the economic precipice.
Uh-huh.
This year we are taking a giant step forward.
Hold on just one moment for me. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here with you.
Monty, I'm sure I will have the opportunity to discuss this budget a little further with you, but I just want to bring something to your attention.
Yes.
A couple of weeks ago, in fact, over the last several weeks, I've been discussing what I heard through the grapevine that the government is planning to raise the age of retirement for judges.
Yes.
I have reason to believe now, Mutty, that they intend to take legislation to Parliament to raise the age of retirement for judges. Now, you know what, in principle, I don't have a problem with raising the age, but it requires a constitutional change, which the government is asking us in the opposition to cooperate with them without consulting the people, the stakeholders, or potential stakeholders in this regard.
Yes.
And I think, you see, Martin, this is a contempt for the people and the people's document, the Constitution.
Well, I tell you something, Mr. Chuck. That contempt goes way back to 1961, 62. Right? The people were never consulted about that. And I tell you something. Of the two leaders of the time, Norman Manley is the one who was a lawyer, right?
Yes.
An outstanding lawyer. And one would have expected that he would have understood what a constitution was about.
Yes.
Right? It is absurd to create a constitution which can be changed by simple majority.
Right? And not only that,
because if burglars could change the
criminal law,
yes, then breaking a house would not be a criminal offense.
That is correct.
Right.
But we have a situation, Monty, where the government intends to use its power, its majority in Parliament,
yes,
to change the Constitution, which no decent Constitution, as you say, should allow.
Yes.
But even so, Monty, I think it is important for the people of this country to really put some constraints on this government.
Uh-huh.
Because if you leave it to them alone, they will change everything to suit themselves.
Yes.
And I say what is happening is a situation in which, from our consultation with people in the legal profession, and including, I say, Mutty, judges. Judges are worried about this increase in the retirement age.
Yes.
And one of the reasons, amongst many others, is that they feel that if you raise it from 70 to 72 or 75,
yes,
that if they retire before the mandatory retirement age, they would not be entitled to their retirement leave. And they have a point, Mutty.
Yes.
In other words, their terms and tenure and conditions of service are being changed without them being consulted. You remember when it was moved from 65 to 70, Mutty?
Yes.
It means that a judge would, if he retired at 67 or 69, he could not get his retirement benefits until he reached age 70.
Yes.
Is that fair to him?
No.
And it seems to me that is the same that could apply if it is moved from 70 to 72 or 75 or 80.
Yes.
That if, for one reason or another, he has to retire, he cannot get his pension benefit until the retirement age.
Yes.
And it seems to me that we need to discuss this issue before we raise the age. And that is something, Mutty, which I pointed out to you a couple of weeks ago. When it was brought to our attention, asking for our cooperation, we said to the government, let us discuss this matter in the justice reform program, so that the stakeholders, the judges, the lawyers, the people can in fact have an input. Do the people of this country, are they satisfied that our judges should go beyond age 70? Maybe they say no, Mutty. And if they say no, who are we to say that they should? I have no doubt, Mutty, that for the majority of judges, many of them can go beyond 70. But all I'm saying, allow consultation between the judges, the people, the other stakeholders, the opposition and the government, and don't just come to Parliament with legislation to increase the age to satisfy some minority interest or some interest that the government wants to serve.
So, on the one hand, let me say that I don't think that there is an age limit for judges of the American Supreme Court.
That is so much, and
I remember there was a very famous judge. I think it was Mr. Justice Douglas.
Yes, went on to almost 90.
Well into his 80s.
Yes.
But on the other hand, though,
yes,
it is my understanding, sir, that what is contemplated by the government here is being done to satisfy one particular judge,
well, Mutty,
whose 70th birthday is coming up shortly.
Well, Mutty, I'm not going to go there. I've heard allegations or suggestions in that regard.
Well,
what I am more concerned about, Mutty, is the principle on which we operate to change the Constitution and also to make policy in regards to fundamental matters.
Yes.
And when the government approached us on this, in fact, when A.J. Nichols spoke to me, I said, write me a letter. Well, the letter wasn't written to me. It's the Prime Minister who wrote the leader of the opposition, and it was brought to my attention. And I publicly said, and the leader of the opposition, to the best of my knowledge, wrote the Prime Minister say, allow this to be a part of the justice reform program. Because that is now going on around the country. And these are
no, they can't do it. They can't do it that way, Mr. Chuck. Because that is going to take time. The justice reform program is not going to be completed in another few months.
It will take only another couple of months. They have to report by the end of June.
By the end of June?
Yes.
When is the birthday of this judge? Do you know?
I don't have any idea about what
I beg your pardon?
I don't know who we're talking about.
You don't know who we're talking about?
I just can speculate, and I don't have any sure knowledge.
Well, I gather that there's a judge, sir, who said recently in the court that I got tired to see me face. And he knew that there were 3 persons who were, aiming to get his job. And he was a man that loved attend funeral.
Well,
you know without failure.
Well, you know, Mutty, I can tell you that the Bar Association of Jamaica, through the president, John Lieber, he is opposed to this hasty and indecent rush to change the legislation.
Yes.
I know that
but there is something fundamentally wrong, sir, with changing such legislation. And when it involves, particularly when it involves the alteration of the Constitution, in order to facilitate the staying on of one judge, sir.
But you know, Mutty, I'm going to warn the government publicly that if they try to do so, you will be touching on the terms and conditions of the judges. And we in the opposition may have to take the necessary action to stop it. And I say go to court, Mutty, firstly, to see that you're changing. It would be sad, Mutty, to go before the very judges who are being affected, to say you have a constitutional motion here where the terms and conditions of your service are being changed without you even having a chance to say yes or no. You see the point I'm making, Mutty?
Yes.
In other words, you would be affecting Section 106 to 109, I believe, that would be changing the terms and conditions of service of the judges.
Yes.
Without consulting with them. You know, because I know, Mutty, that they have not been consulted. And you're seeking to raise the age without asking them how would they look at it. You see, there are many possibilities, you know, Mutty. You could say that the retirement age remains at 70 and judges could get 1 year or contractual appointments after age 70 up to, you know, until as long as they're fit to serve.
Yes.
But I think it is unfair, Mutty, that they should not be consulted to say, yes, you're entitled to your retirement benefit at age 70, but you can continue to serve year after year on a sort of contractual basis afterwards.
But I don't have any doubt in my mind, sir, that the government would be prepared to make such an accommodation.
Well, you see, that is what worries me, Mutty. And that is always the problem in Jamaica, that we legislate to satisfy, you know, should I say, extraneous interests.
Yes.
And it is very sad.
It is my understanding, sir, that this is being done to facilitate one person. Right?
What, Mutty?
And it seems to me to be a shame that the Constitution of it is being contemplated, the alteration of the Jamaican Constitution to satisfy one person.
Well, you know, the best way I can tell the government, don't come with it, because at the very minimum, if that is the case, Mutty, and I'm saying that I don't know if it is the case, but if that is the case, then we take some constitutional motion to block it until later in the year. You get me?
Yes.
And the people of Jamaica should be prepared, if necessary, to do the necessary protests and roadblocks where their document, because it is their document, is being fiddled with. Because if they can fiddle with it in this way, Mutty, they can fiddle with it in other ways.
But of course.
And that is why you see the people keep crying out, there's no justice. Because the government is not interested in fair play, Mutty.
Yes.
The government is not interested in pursuing matters of principle. All it does is to satisfy its own selfish and extraneous interests.
Yes.
And I just, you know, bring it to the public's attention, Mutty, that to the best of my knowledge, the government has stated that it intends to bring legislation to Parliament to raise the age of judges under the strong opposition of the opposition and against the wishes of the stakeholders in the judicial system.
Well, not all of them.
Well, no, I mean, you know, we can't conduct public business like this in a Mutty.
Yes.
Where you know, and you know, it is just not right that, at the end of the day, the public can see that certain interests are being pursued rather than the public interest.
Yes.
And it is for the Jamaican people to pass judgment, and I just urge the government, allow the consultations to take place, allow the stakeholders to voice their opinions, and at an appropriate time bring the legislation to Parliament. But if they bring it now, Mutty, I would urge the lawyers, certainly the opposition will be initiating something along that regards, to bring constitutional motion to stop the Constitution from being changed, which affects the terms and conditions of our judges. Okay.
Well, having regard to what I have heard, sir, I should think that the opposition should do that in any event, should seek to postpone any such change for another 3 or 4 years.
I see. Anyway, Mutty, I'm going to be going back to Parliament.
All right, Mr. Cho.
Take care.
Thank you very much. Okay, hello? 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 Hello?
Hello?
Yes?
Christ St. Andrew.
What about St. Andrew?
Yeah.
We seem not to have a good connection, sir.
Yeah,
May I hear you now? Yes.
Yeah. Green man from Eastern St. Andrew.
Who that?
Green man.
Green man?
Yeah. I got to tell you something. I'm going for this month there.
Your voice is breaking. I'm not hearing you clearly.
Alright. Yeah, this man I'm going to talk about my counselor. You hear me now?
Talk about Sema what?
Yeah?
We're not talking about Sema?
Yeah. Counselor, he resigned from the party.
Oh, yes.
You hear me now?
May I hear you? Yes.
You see him? He not no seat at all. Let me tell you something.
How you mean not no seat, sir?
He not no seat. That's what them... He won the last time.
Why are you saying that about? What do you mean by that?
You know, yes. Listen, Mr. Perkins.
Yes, and him not no seat?
No. He won in a 2002, you see? He never win. When him
seat.
When him fair walk on the people them, he go about in business. Understand me? If he's a counselor.
Well, I have to take a break. Sorry, hold on. Thank you very much. We're back here.
Hello.
Yes?
Hello. Yeah, hear me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, that man won 2002 and lost the election. And listen me now. He's a PMP man win the seat, you see?
He's a PMP man?
He's a PMP man. And the council PMP man win the seat. You understand me? And tell me now. You're a big man now, Mr. Perkins. I'm respect you and things. But tell me now. If you lost an election like that, tell me now, how you resign from the party? And you don't have a seat?
Well, no, you can resign. You're a member of the party, you can resign your membership. Yeah.
I'm telling you something again, sir. It's right now. It's a doctor about it and do for the people them. If they're sick, he help them. If anything for done, he help them. I'm telling you the truth now. That man is a God bless man.
All right. Well, you don't have to worry then. If you have, he's a good candidate, you say.
Yeah,
right?
but hear me now.
So what are you worrying about?
No, I'm not worrying about. But when that man telling liars to resign from party.
No, he resigned from the party. He has resigned from the party.
No, but him, look, that do spread propaganda, it not work. He want to spread up big propaganda again, it not going to work.
Well, in that event, you have nothing to worry about. Okay? Thank you very much. Okay, we have some email.
Yes, Mr. Perkins. Good morning, Mr. Perkins. Don't you find it curious that Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller did not mention the word Cricket World Cup in her broadcast to the nation over the weekend? When you consider how they boast how many billions of people saw the opening, I am surprised that she has not listed as among her achievements.
It was going to be to the tourism industry, which is why they invested $9 billion in it. That must have been one of her great achievements.
Good morning, Mr. Perkins. I heard a news clip that Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller will be turning her attention now to the family. I don't know whether you heard it. I've been trying to find it online, but to no avail. But, Mr. Perkins, has she finished with the issues of human rights, of justice and corruption?
She did not mention.
Have those been addressed to her, or more importantly, to our satisfaction?
She did not even mention the word corruption in that speech on Friday night. And what she said about the family is that when she speaks on the budget in Parliament, she will be addressing the family, the issue of the family. I am not quite sure how that relates to the budget, right? But I look forward to hearing that speech. It should be interesting, even for being not interesting.
Mr. Perkins, you are blaming the government for lawlessness in society today. I have never heard you at any time criticize the opposition party for breaking the law. Whenever there is any issue in the society, the JLP will call upon the people of Jamaica to go out and block the roads and demonstrate. I have never heard you criticize the opposition for breaking the law in blocking roads. While I support demonstrations and peaceful protests, I do not support the blocking of roads and other unlawful protests. In these, I have never heard you speak out, but instead you encourage the people to do and at even times advise the people to do so in order to get results.
I don't think that I have advise the people to block roads on this program, sir. To begin with, that would be a criminal offense, right? And if I had done it, I am sure that there are persons out there who would have wanted to see me somewhere else. That's one. Two, I am aware of the Labour Party encouraging demonstrations. I cannot remember hearing them advocate the blocking of roads. Because again, that would be an offense. Right? I don't know of that, and if you can tell me of an occasion when they have openly advocated the blocking of roads, well, I would be willing to admit that I either overlooked it. I'm not aware of it, so if I overlooked it, if I didn't know about it, then maybe it's my fault for not knowing about it. But I don't know of any occasion when any leader of the Labour Party came out and advocated the blocking of roads. Don't know of it.
Mutty, careful how you talk about that event in Portland, because Dr. Davis might just relocate the Ministry of Finance down there. Mr. Perkins, for many days, weeks, now your internet service has been intermittent, switching in and out sometimes. And even when one can still browse, your email stops functioning. Is this going to be resolved or not? Your toll-free number also seems not to be working.
Yes, sir.
Today, for example, I called your number several times without success. On 2 of those occasions, I held on until your system timed out and stopped ringing. I have copied this email to Perkins Online in the hope that it will encourage you to take the complaint seriously. So it was sent to management, I think. Good day, Mr. Perkins. I cannot hear you at all today. Would you be so kind enough to extend my best wishes to Comrade Portia Simpleton Miller by reading the following on air for me?
Are the initials of the person who wrote that DD?
Who?
DD?
No.
Oh.
Congrats, Portia, Comrade Portia. Enjoy the rest of your time in office. I'm sure I speak for all Jamaicans at home and abroad when I say that we appreciate all that you have said that you have done for Jamaica in the short time that you have been at the wicket. Many of us never had a chance to achieve our goals in life, and we take pride in knowing a hero of Jamaica was able to achieve her only dream.
What did he say? Portia Simpleton Miller?
Yes.
Oh, don't disparage the Prime Minister like that.
And what here, someone has sent you a quote from Bertrand Russell. Mr. P, the whole problem with the world is that fools and fanatics are always so certain of themselves, and wiser people are so full of doubts. Bertrand Russell.
Yes.
Mutty, I wish to use this medium to call upon the President of the West Indies Union Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, Dr. Patrick Allen, that he, as head of the church, should disassociate himself and the Adventist Church in Jamaica from the statement made over the weekend in Montego Bay by Pastor Harvey that was carried in the Sunday Observer. This pastor was never afraid to say in public that he's a PNP man. I'm ashamed of such a pronouncement as a member of the church. No, I don't know.
But I wonder. I don't know what statement he made. But why shouldn't a pastor be able to say that he's a PNP man, if he is? I don't follow that. Okay, we all have the right to be PNP if that is what we support. We take a break. We come back shortly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you very much. We're back here. And back to the email.
Mr. Perkins, I am puzzled why the Prime Minister and her party have embarked on a big public relations campaign to highlight her achievements over the past year.
Well, why not?
If what was done during this period was for the benefit of the people, it would not be necessary to have any highlighting of any achievements, because the people will be testimonial for such programs. Obviously, whatever was done was not for the masses, because they don't appear to have seen it, to have felt it, or lived it. Madam Prime Minister, please wheel and come back again. You can fool some people some of the time, but not all the people all the time. I am a smart Jamaican.
Well, you see, sir, what you need to understand is that if you can't make it, you fake it. Right? And that is what is happening here.
Mr. Perkins, the Water Commission. I think it is wedded to an oppressive policy to disconnect consumers' water supply for the least infringement or delayed payment, against the background of scant efforts made to send out bills in time or to communicate with customers about matters needing urgent attention. And perhaps this policy is for the collection of a few dollars more. The Commission charges $1,600 for reconnection, from which it pays $500 to staff or contractor to disconnect, another $500 to another workman to reconnect. But this is having a tremendously negative impact on the entire citizenry. This leaves the consumer entirely to the mercy of the lock-off man, who accepts no pertinent information except that his $500 charge must be paid. This terrorism imposes a lot on families, particularly those with children. Mr. Perkins, the Commission is a monopoly. The consumer has no alternative than to pay these bills, sometimes enormously out of whack. In many instances, they don't know that disconnection threatens, and it is not much comfort for the Commission to say you are to find out what your outstanding is and pay it promptly. Mr. Perkins, I live in a townhouse complex, and I was president of a citizens association, and this makes me acutely aware of the manner in which such practices are frequently abused.
You know, so what you need to ask yourself is not about the Water Commission, but about the government. Does the government see itself as representing the people and being there to protect the interests of the people? Or does the government see the people as being there to be exploited? That is the question.
Mr. Perkins, I wish to bring your attention to the story in the Gleaner this morning about PNP candidates resigning. The man was never a candidate. He was a caretaker councillor. I cannot understand why the JLP has not issued some statement clarifying the matter and allow partisan persons in the media to put their spin on it.
But a caretaker councillor is a candidate.
Apparently he was not a candidate in any election.
A caretaker, what is called a caretaker is somebody appointed to run for the seat, or chosen.
I don't know.
Yes, that's my understanding of it. So if you're not a candidate, you're not a caretaker.
Hello, Mr. Perkins. Was Mr. Clue the star witness in the conviction of a certain strong man? Is there any connection between the fact that Mr. Clue gave his information to the police chief and it is the son of the Minister of the National Security who is replacing Mr. Clue?
I wouldn't know how to answer that. So what you're asking is whether Mr. Clue has been pushed out because he wouldn't shut his damn mouth. Is that what you... I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
Mr. Perkins, that attack on homosexuality, which was shown on the TV night before last night, I think it was staged deliberately, Mr. Perkins.
Oh.
There are all sorts of distractions being staged all over the country now to take people's minds off the real issues which confront us. Mr. Perkins, please do not pay so much attention to them. It is a tactic to distract from the real situations and their own reference to churchiness. And in Jamaica, it is like the US. It is a hard position to defend. And it carries a lot of emotion with it, Mr. Perkins. And this is what the PNP want. And if it doesn't happen, they will make it happen so that it grabs the headline. I wish Jamaicans to be aware of this.
How is it that we're getting so many letters, so many emails that are anti the PNP? Don't we get some that...
Well, there was one that didn't I read it?
Yes.
No. Oh, I thought it was. I started reading that email thinking it was genuinely praising their prime minister until I just suddenly came upon Simpleton.
What does it say?
I'm finished, Mr. Perkins.
You didn't have one?
There are some others, but they're rather long.
Oh, I see.
And the lines are full.
I'm thinking of ones that favor that defend the government. We're not getting much of those.
Well, because I think something is wrong with our email service.
Oh?
Yes. Some of this mail is from yesterday. I noticed that there's a marked drop in the amount, and of course one email explained it. It said the email service has been removed from time to time. Yes.
All right, well, too bad.
At least from the site.
Okay, hello? Hello?
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. President.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Oh, not bad. And you?
Could be worse.
And you have a few things to discuss. The first one, you remember Mr. Siaga did say that Greenwood take over from Deadwood?
No, I didn't remember that.
Yeah, man, that is what Mr. Siaga made reference to pertaining to those who went to the NDM.
Oh.
So he said those that live in the GLP now, these are the Greenwood. They're dressed in green, and the Deadwood them gone to PNP.
I see.
Yeah, man, so the PNP take up the Deadwood them. That is of no political significance whatsoever. And claim that they are on the way to the fifth term.
You know, sir, that is only a statement of prejudice.
Not prejudice, you know?
Not a statement of truth.
Yeah, man. Anyhow, you did hear my doctor man dear, Dr. Ashley.
Where?
On the TV program the other night.
I heard him on a number of programs. Yes.
Yeah, man. He says that the Prime Minister is surrounded with some has-been, never was, and wannabe. Do you think that is apt for most of those people that is on Team Portia?
I think
maybe a yellow color instead of the orange.
I think that is disparaging of the Prime Minister.
Anyhow, I noticed that Betty and Blaine has come out.
You know, so somebody just wrote in an email something about Portia Simpleton Miller.
I heard that one that you just read not too long ago.
Why do people say things like that about my Prime Minister?
No, but you can't blame the person if you are to believe Mr. K.D. Knight, you know.
What is that?
You remember K.D. Knight did say that the Prime Minister can't think on her feet and she have to get paper 3 hours in advance to study. Those words are going to come back and haunt them. Because those are going to play a very integral role in this election that is coming up. Anyhow, I noticed that Miss Betty Ann Blaine has come up with some murder figure for the year so far and says it's 361.
361 for the year?
Yeah.
Oh.
In today's Observer, see it.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, man, and if that is so, then it is very bad because notice that the police, apart from the month of January, has not been presenting any figure.
361
for the year so far, so more than that is the first 3 months.
Say to the end of March.
So if it's the end of March, it would be 1,444 at that rate for the rest of the year.
1,448
and 44.
Or 44 for the rest of the year?
For the entire year.
Oh.
If you continue at that rate, because it's only 3 months gone, so you have to multiply by 4.
Yes.
For the entire year.
Yes.
And the police were quick last year, including the Commissioner of Police, to tell us that murder was done by 20%. So
So I hope the Commissioner would be able to tell us now what is the figure at the present time in comparison to the corresponding period last year.
Well, sir, I hope you're not hoping that the figure will be high rather than low.
No, I would rather if we never have any murder. Anyhow, next thing. The Trafigura.
Yes.
When we bowl them with the Trafigura, the Prime Minister is claiming that the GLP must make disclosures about campaign financing. But Trafigura was involved in dumping of toxic waste down in the Ivory Coast, killing many of poor people, including black people. And they were fined $198 million for such action. Trafigura is under a cloud because in terms of how it went about, if Mr. Golden never get the information, nobody would know about Trafigura.
Hold on just a moment for me. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online. Hello?
Yes, Mr. Perkins.
Yes,
Trafigura has left more questions than answers that have been presented, especially where the Prime Minister is concerned. And Mr. A.J. Nicholson said if he knew what he knew now, then he would have kept his mouth shut.
Yes.
But Mr. Nicholson did not state exactly what he knew. So the people of Jamaica are wondering whether Trafigura had anything to do with the oil contract, influence peddling, or it had anything to do with the cockpit country bauxite mining.
Yes.
And the Prime Minister, in terms of the account, which mentioned her constituency of Southwest, that they said is St. Andrew, has not provided any answer, but now she's claiming that the GLP needs to present where they get their finances from.
Yes, but sir, the issue of Trafigura, cannot be, or the issue of campaign financing, disclosure of campaign financing, is not to be identified with the issue of Trafigura.
Of course.
That is a nonsense argument.
Because that is from a multinational corporation that is suspected of being involved in influence peddling. Where you get is mainly from local corporate bodies.
Yes. The fact of the matter is that Trafigura is engaged with the government of Jamaica in lifting Nigerian oil, which the Nigerians make available to Jamaica at concessionary rates.
Yeah.
And when we look, the rate as I remember it was somewhere in the region of $5 per barrel. And what Jamaica is getting out of it at the end of the transaction, of the Trafigura dealing, is 12 cents per barrel. Now where's the rest of the money?
Good question. And when we look,
and does that 31 million or 40 million, whatever it was, come out of that money? Right? That is a question that needs to be answered.
Of course, there are many questions left to be answered, and the Prime Minister did not give a plausible answer when she was questioned in Parliament. I saw even Mr. Davis whispering in her ears at that time. And when she talked about campaign
he may have just been advising her about something, I don't know.
When she talked about campaign financing and the GLP must make disclosures, people make contribution to parties. Some make contribution to both parties. Those that are on the winning side, everything is all right. Those that are on the losing side can be subjected to victimization.
Yes, that's quite true.
And the people of Jamaica know that when it comes to political victimization, the PNP is the master.
Well,
because in 1973, when they set up the DaCosta Commission of Inquiry, Harvey DaCosta said that the PNP came, they saw and they did worse, because victimization had reached a stage never before seen in the history of this country.
Harvey DaCosta said that?
Yeah, man, that's what Harvey DaCosta said. So that is the situation under this PNP administration. And if we look at it, suppose someone contributes money to a party, say $10,000, and the party wants to disclose it. The party can disclose it.
Yes.
Suppose another one contributes $10 million, and the party don't want to disclose it. Then you hide that one. So you put what you want to be disclosed in book and what you don't want to be known, you hide it out of the book.
Well, but then if that is discovered, it could be seriously embarrassing.
Yeah, man, if it is discovered, but not everything that is discovered, because they never expected to be caught out in terms of Trafigura. So they are just looking for some lame excuse in order to extricate themselves from the mess
they do need to provide explanations of certain, answers to certain questions.
Yeah.
And to keep identifying Trafigura with disclosure of contributions to party campaign financing is inadequate.
Of course.
And talking specifically about the Prime Minister, she needs to explain that meeting that she had with a couple of Trafigura persons.
Of course.
Right? Alone with the two of them in Jamaica House. Why?
Very good question. Anyhow, the final thing. I noticed Mr. Robinson there on Sunday said that in terms of the Don Anderson poll, the GLP was leading in the poll for the first time for a very long time, but nothing could be further from the truth. Because from last year, Bill Johnson, the PNP international pollster that polled from many other organizations, said that the GLP was leading by 1%. The other poll there, the Stone poll, Trevor Monroe asked of Dr. Boxill in December what was the result of his last finding, and he said that the GLP was leading but within the margin of error. And Trevor Monroe was smart not to ask for the figure. So that is a lie. The GLP have been leading in all three polls since the publication of the Don Anderson poll.
You know, sir, I think the GLP, well, I don't know. I don't take the polls too seriously.
Well, with me, I take it seriously because it has a psychological advantage. And when the PNP say you're leading by 1%, it can be 10. Because if it's even 0.5, the fact that you are ahead give you a psychological advantage in terms of the mindset of the electorate out here.
Yes, but if they can do that by telling you that what happens if they tell you next that the PNP is leading by 10%?
No, well, it's only Bill Johnson will state that.
You sure of that?
Yeah, man.
I see.
Because you heard this morning in the discussion when they asked the pollsters what they expected. Mr. Wigner said that he expected the GLP to win. Mr. Bill Johnson said that the PNP is slightly ahead. And that Dr. Boxill says all indicators was pointing to a GLP victory.
Oh, Dr. Boxill said that?
Yeah, man, so it's 2-1, but you hear what Trevor Monroe said after. 1P, 1J, and 1 in between.
Yes. But
we should not factor in terms of what was said by the people that were being interviewed.
Yes, but the man who tells you today that that your party is ahead can tell you tomorrow that some other party is ahead, right? And if you contribute to his credibility today, you will be putting yourself deeper into trouble tomorrow.
No, well, I give two of them one credibility, and I don't give any to Bill Johnson.
I see.
Because he has been off track in his pronouncement all along. And
could I just point out something to you? Poll results are not scientific statements, right? The essence of a scientific statement is the possibility of authentication.
Yeah.
Right? If when Einstein says that E equals MC squared, right? That can be verified by other scientists, right? And if when other scientists test it, it turns out not to be valid, then that's the end of that, right? The poll results cannot be tested. There's no way they can be tested, right?
Yeah.
If somebody did a poll last week and comes and tells you that the result of that poll is XYZ, you can't test that, you know. You know that.
Yeah, that is factual, but
you can't test it because
you still need something to guide to precisely where you are. And I heard Mr. Johnson make a very interesting statement this morning. He said that elections are on the ground by the infantry, not in the air. So you have to be organized PD by PD, constituency by constituency. And he said that from October, November of last year, it was pointing to the GLP making significant gains.
Oh, is that so?
But what I found interesting is that one of them were claiming that it's a gender thing that is playing a very important part, because there was a 10 to 12% gap in terms of PNP and GLP support where women are concerned. And the GLP were ahead amongst men.
I see.
And they were also saying that Mr. Golden could be trusted because he had moved from GLP to PNP to NDM and back to GLP. But that argument that is being carried by the PNP, when we look, we see a whole heap of PNP that moved from PNP to NDM and back to PNP, you know. Because the PNP, them that were in the NDM, nearly every one of them gone back to PNP. So you have to wonder if some of them were back in the NDM.
I don't know of any of those. Who are they?
All right, you want me to give you some of them? Barbara Clark, who ran against Mr. Food at the last time. The man that
she had been PNP before? She was PNP before?
No, when she gone to PNP, she was in the NDM.
Yes.
Remember DK Duncan was a PNP, come to the NDM and gone back to PNP. Then you have another man running against Mr. Chuck that took over as the chairman after after at one time there. He is the candidate against Mr. Chuck. And I can name you a whole heap of them. Brascoli is out there with them too, you know.
Brascoli?
Yeah, man, in Ghana PNP, man. So you see, them that the deadwood in a Labour Party that gone to the dead PNP party. But the GLP is on the way to recording a resounding victory at the poll.
You think so?
Yeah, man. You hear the Prime Minister say this morning.
How much are you prepared to bet on that?
Maybe it's any more. Maybe you're 10 to 1 odds say GLP win.
21 what?
10 to 1 odds.
Yes?
Yeah, man, because the Prime Minister was saying this morning that nobody can force her to call election. And last year, February, when she come from Antigua, she said, I hope that when I fly the gate, then we'll be ready. And the GLP is ready for over 1 year, and right now, Portia can't even find 60 candidates.
Well.
So they are in a tailspin, in turmoil. And they are going to get a good trash in whenever the Prime Minister is brave enough to fly the gate.
All right, sir.
And you have a good day, Mr. Perkins.
Thank you very much. All the best to you. Okay, we take a break now. We'll come back in a moment. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online. Hello?
Afternoon, Mr. Perkins.
Good afternoon, sir.
I heard an interesting news item there from China.
Would you speak up a bit for me?
I heard an interesting news item on China trying to cool its housing market.
Yes.
But I'm just wondering, what is Jamaica doing to cool their housing market? I noticed that a lot of these mortgage firms are offering 100% mortgages, and valuators who are being paid by the percentage of their valuation. So just an observation, you know, I mean, of how we manage our economy in Jamaica, as opposed to how other more civilized and advanced people manage theirs.
Yes.
You were talking to that tribalist a while ago on Trafigura, and you asked two very interesting questions that really need to be answered. One was the difference between the $5 that we are getting the oil from Nigeria at and what we're actually being paid by Trafigura, the 12 cents. What happens to the difference between that $5? What happens to that $4.88?
Yes.
Who is getting that money? And the other one was the traffic.
Well, I believe that I gather that What is the name of that company with which Mr. Pattison is associated? Goodwill.
The advertising firm with Andrew.
Yes. Mr. Pattison is now associated with it. Good Works. They are collecting some money.
A part of it for arranging the deal with Trafigura.
Yes.
Yes, but still, regardless of it, the bottom line is the questions are asked and are not adequately answered.
True.
We get bits and pieces, snippets of it, but the true picture is never really presented.
Yes.
And I would think that if Prime Minister Simpson is serious about dealing with corruption, she has to honestly address these matters to the country if she wants to really clean up and just stop paying lip service to the people.
Yes.
The other thing is also what
Hello? I'm sorry, we seem to have lost him there. Okay, let's go somewhere else. Hello? Hello? What's happening? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Perkins.
Good afternoon to you.
I'm calling because we here in the U.S. try to log on and listen to you.
No, would you speak up for me?
Mr. Perkins,
yes.
I'm calling because we here in the United States have been trying to log on and listen to your station. Once we log on, out of the blue, we're kicked off to say that server is full. Is there something you can do to fix that problem? Because a lot of us listen to you during the daytime. And I just tried to log on to listen to you, and it says capable is not possible. Is there some way you can ask the network people to fix it?
Look here, you're not. Would you speak directly into the
Mr. Perkins, I'm talking directly into the phone. I'm calling.
Oh, you're speaking a little down. Yes, all right. I'm hearing you better now. You're saying.
Why is it so hard for us here in the U.S. to log on to your station? And
I don't know. I don't. What? Between what? To log on to the station.
We cannot listen to your program during the daytime because we keep getting kicked off.
Yes.
From the U.S. So is there anything you can do to fix that problem so we'll be able to listen to you more better?
I don't know what I could do about it, Mom. I don't know what I don't handle that side of it, right? What does it say? That the server is full?
Yes, it's saying the server is full. We can neither listen or hear anything.
Well, if that is what it is saying, I suppose that what it means is that there's not enough capacity to
but I logged on since this morning.
The streams are inadequate.
I logged on since 9 o'clock this morning.
Yes.
And it was okay until you came online.
Yes.
Once you came online, we totally got kicked off.
Are you serious? I'm hearing that from a number of people. And I don't understand why, if you are on, you should be kicked off if somebody else comes on. I don't see how that can work.
And then as soon as it was your time to come on, we got kicked off.
Oh, hell.
And another thing, Mr. Perkins, I want to address. Everybody keep coming down on Portia. If the other party wins, it's going to be the same BS we have in Jamaica.
Hold on just a moment for me. Hold on, please. Okay, thank you very much. We're back with you.
Mr. Perkins, as I was saying, everyone keeps saying Portia's this and Portia's that. But have you ever thought in the fact Jamaica needs a third party to come in? We need to get rid of all those people we have right now and start fresh.
All which people?
The police department, then the government, and all those corruption that's going on. Because if
how would that be possible?
It's the same party, different driver. We have to start doing something different. There's no jobs out there now.
Well, yes, but it seems to me that what we need is better leadership.
But Mr. Mr. Perkins, how can you have better leadership when everything is still going to remain the same? The same bus, different driver.
Everything is what?
Going to remain the same. All it's going to do.
How do you know that everything is going to remain the same?
What is the next party going to come in and do for us?
Well, I don't know. One hopes that they could handle the situation better than it is being handled at the moment. Anybody who wants to vote for the Labour Party would vote on that premise, right? If what you have is not good enough, then you try something else.
But Mr. Perkins, at the end of the day, it's going to still be the same thing.
How do you know that?
Nothing is not going to change.
Hold on just a moment. What is it that allows you to come to that conclusion?
Because, Mr. Perkins, what difference is it going to make for another party going?
No. Hold on. You have told me, you have said that if the Labour Party comes to office, things are going to remain the same.
Yes, it is.
I ask you. Yes, hold on. I ask you, what is it that makes you come to that conclusion? You say, but Mr. Perkins,
they was in there before, and nothing never changed. The other party went in. They all make promises.
Hold on just a moment. What you said?
They was in there before. Nothing changed.
Well, hold on. No, that's not quite true. That is not quite true, right?
Mr. Perkins, they all make promises when they're campaigning.
Look here, Mom.
Promises.
Hold on.
I never forget when I was a child.
Hold on a moment for me. The Labour Party has been in office in this country between 1944 and 1955, between 1962 and 1972, right? Between 1980 and 89. Right? Now, are you saying that in none of those periods that the Labour Party did anything useful for in Jamaica?
They started out to, and then it went back to square one. Started out to and went back to square one.
That is not true.
Mr. Perkins, let me tell you.
Between 1980. Hold on, Mom.
No, Mr. Perkins, when I was a child out there.
When was that?
I can tell you this much.
When was that?
Back in the 80s. First time I ever witnessed an election was 1980. And I forgot we don't have one coming like that now. But when I remember when Tiaga came into office, we were made a lot of promises and nothing came out of it. Okay? The business them open and a couple months later they closed.
What was open?
Came back into power and nothing happened. They make us promises. We just plain and simple need a new set of people to come in. We need to clean all the
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that is fair.
The money
because I know.
To go.
Hold on just a moment.
To go and all of them need to go.
Hold on a moment now. You want it? Hold on a moment. Is it or is it not a fact that in 1980 when they came to power, they were taking over an economy that had collapsed and was producing 25% less than it had when the PNP came to power in 1972. Is that true or is it not true?
Mr. Perkins, you're going back to the past. Okay, we're dealing.
No, but you're talking about 1980, Mom.
Yes, but I'm saying
you're talking about 1980.
Anything for the country right now. Both parties.
I'm asking you, Mom. No, hold on. You're saying that the Labour Party was in office before and it did not perform well. That is not true.
Exactly.
Right?
But tell me, where did they perform well? Tell me where.
Well, they did in the 1960s when the economy was grew an average of 6.
Tell me about 1960. You have to tell me from 72 and upwards, and preferably from 80. Come on up.
They didn't. Well, in the 1980s, they certainly managed to get the economy growing, right? And in the late 1980s, it was growing at rates of 6 and 7%.
So you feel if the next party come in back
I beg your pardon?
now, you feel that if Bruce come in power now, we will be growing again?
Well, but
Mr. Perkins,
hold on just a moment, ma'am.
how can it be?
Hold on a moment.
When?
Let me ask you this: what alternative would you suggest?
I would suggest, plain and simple, get rid of Portia, get rid of Bruce. Number one, Bruce is undecisive. He was in one party,
Bruce is what?
he went to another.
Bruce is what?
Bruce is he went to one party, then he went to a next party. Okay? We need to get rid of all of them.
Hold on a minute.
Fresh.
You ever heard of a man named Winston Churchill?
Yes.
He did the same thing, you know.
Yes.
He left the Conservative Party. He went to the Liberal Party, and then he went back to the Conservative Party.
Yes.
And yet, he is today regarded. Hold on a little bit. He is today regarded in Britain as one of the best prime ministers they ever had.
Mr. Perkins,
am I right? Am I right?
Yes, you are. But at the present time, right now, we need to get rid of all.
So
why we as Jamaicans cannot see that Portia and Bruce is not doing nothing for the country and let somebody independently
But hold on. But you haven't, Mr. Golding.
Perkins,
Mr. Golding has not had the opportunity.
Why should we give it to him when he's still going to be the same?
But he has not had. How do you know? I don't know.
Okay, Mr. I'm quite sure when the election call this year, I'm going to call you back. And a couple of months later, you're going to say something else.
Well, I don't know. Maybe.
So why won't we just...
But I don't think that we can make that assumption. We cannot fairly make that assumption. Hold on, ma'am. Hold on just a moment. It is not in the... Hold on just a moment. What you are talking is propaganda, and maybe effective propaganda. But it is not a reasoned argument that would be in the interest of the country at this time. Right? What you are saying is, you're condemning Mr. Golding before he has had the opportunity.
Not him only. We need to get rid of both.
We need to get rid of both.
Get rid of both and start fresh.
And whom do you suggest that we put in their places?
That's the thing. People want to run, but they're so scared because this party is saying this party, and Jamaica people are very confused.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Do you think...
All the best to you. Okay, hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon.
How are you, sir?
Not too bad.
I listen to two stations for I can't bother with the switching and switching. And I always hear a village lawyer come over both stations. And he always been saying, Portia. But I want to tell him that the Jamaica First Lady have some respect for her. And as far as I am concerned, I understand that man won't get up off his mother bed and let his mother have him bed. He must go and live a life of his own and buy one bed. And leave the lady alone. Thank you and love you. Bye.
Fortunately, I don't know who it is that you're talking about. But anyhow, leave it at that. All right? You don't like anybody criticizing Portia. Okay, hello?
Hello.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Afternoon again, Mr. Perkins. That lady you're just speaking with from the States. A couple of things. It's a real player that she has as her software running your program. Why she can't get through? I use Real Player, and the same thing was happening to me, that the server was full. So if you use another software other than Real Player, you will be able to listen to your program.
Well, I hope she's hearing you.
Yes.
No, but she wouldn't be.
Go ahead.
She wouldn't be because she can't hear the program.
Okay. The other thing is, the problem is why we have this problem with the parties we choose to lead us. It's education, Mr. Perkins. If we had an educated electorate, we wouldn't be arguing the things we are coming up to the election.
Yes.
We're not looking at performance. We're not looking at issues. We're looking at personalities. And unless we start, the PNP have been in power for 18 years. And what percentage of our population is literate?
Yes, well, but you know, sir, in any event, the idea of having a two-party system, right, is that one party is in government while the other party is refreshing itself, right? When you, at some point you change them, you put the refreshed one in, you put the stale one out.
Yes.
And that stale one goes through the process of refreshing itself, and then at some other time you change again, right? That's the whole idea of it.
That's how I understand it.
Right.
But the way I'm seeing it, Mr. Perkins, you see what happened to Cuba in the 50s.
Eh?
You see what happened to Cuba in the 50s?
Yes.
With Batista?
Yes.
A very similar situation is developing in Jamaica. Right? And unless we get a Fidel Castro, we're not really going to change very much about Jamaica because of the lack of literacy.
The lack of literacy?
Yes. The PNP are going to keep, I mean, you know, like, what do you think Portia coming with now about the family?
God alone knows, but I...
You come in, whatever family needs, Mutty.
Eh? I suppose that what she's saying, she's... Look
housing,
here, I'm out of time.
Housing for the family. And she's going to buy housing for the schools that love her.
Oh, I see. I'm out of time, sir. Thank you very much. We talk again. Okay, that brings us to the end of Perkins Online for today. We'll be back hopefully tomorrow, usual time, usual place. Look forward to your company. So long.